you where you need to go. Something you can get in and go with plenty of space. Be ready to tackle any terrain, large or small. When you choose Reynolds, you choose reliability. The guaranteed great customer experience and relationship from the moment you walk in. Come in and see for yourself or visit reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
During Army basic training, I found out I had 7 herniated discs. Prescription pain medication led me to a heroin addiction. I entered Wheeler's program and learned life on God's terms.
After meeting Greg, I was so impressed, I hired him. When you change that one life, it makes it all worthwhile.
Now, I have a family, house, and a job that I love. At Wheeler, you can have something everlasting.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit Go.
Harder. Faster.
Sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Game Time. This is Indiana High School Sports. This is your IHSAA.
At first, me and my mom were struggling. I was trying to pay the bills and trying to take care of my mom at the same time. When I first heard that I can get paid for taking care of my mom, I was kind of skeptical because I had been doing it for so many years without pay. That's when I reached out to Passion to Care. I read all the reviews and I saw that they were #1 in the field. Passion to Care has really, really changed my life. Right now, I take care of my mom 24/7 thanks to Passion to Care.
You want a piece of equipment you can trust, one that's easy to use. No matter the size of the job, you want to create a feeling worthwhile, something you can use for every job. For over 60 years, Reynolds has been a community staple, ensuring our customers powerful implements and top quality care and service. You need something that's in it for the long haul. Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer, today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Just working with our company, you're going to get to work with a lot of bright individuals.
Everyone is open and ready to help you, and definitely big on advocating for making sure that you succeed and reach your potential.
Everyone's goal is the same, to make the best products that we can for our clients and make sure that it is everything and more that it could be.
What's kept me here? Our culture. We're genuinely a very great group of people. Everyone's just always willing to lend a hand.
When I have a suggestion or a concern and I voice it, leadership actually hears me.
As a consultancy, every person has a role and has something to bring to the table. There's just a lot of opportunities here if you're up for the challenge.
Jump on board, be part of the fun ride, because we're going places.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience on a great budget. We've got incredible specials, great service. Today's dish that we're going to highlight is going to be our Aspen Blue Sirloin. It is, again, our premium Black Angus certified beef, and we top that with a blue cheese crust. Again, everything that we do here is made from scratch, and it's no different from our steaks. We hand cut all our steaks in-house. So our team back there, it's just an incredible team. Everything that they do, they take so much pride in. They put a little bit of themselves into everything that they do over here, especially since it is a made from scratch concept. We want everybody to come, visit us, enjoy some great food with some great service. Bring your friends, bring your family, come have some great food, have a great time with us with some of the best comfort scratch food.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN. This means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Hey, Indiana. Let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff.
It's a warm early afternoon as we welcome you to Spartan Stadium and Manchester University. We have a full slate of D3 college football on this Saturday on IndianaSRN as the Kalamazoo Hornets take on the Manchester Spartans. Hi, everybody. Cruz Martin alongside my partner, John Lester. John, both of these teams winding down non-con play, and they're looking to make final tune-ups before their conference slates begin.
And it's a great test for both these teams. Kalamazoo coming in undefeated right now. Manchester still trying to find themselves, although they came off just near miss last week. So it's a good test for both these teams to wrap up non-conference play, I think.
Now, both of these teams have played scrimmages over the last couple of years. This is their first regular season matchup, though, since 2013. Their third all-time matchup, I should say their fourth all-time matchup, and Kalamazoo leads that series 2-1. Speaking of Kalamazoo, let's talk about the Hornets. They're 2-0 on the season. They're coming off a win against Kenyon this past weekend, and they look pretty impressive. They've taken care of business so far this year.
Great performance, and I'm actually impressed with them defensively as well. This is a team only giving up less than 14 points a game, so their defense has been outstanding for Kalamazoo. We're going to talk about their quarterback, Josh Nichols, getting it done as well, having a great game last week. Kalamazoo getting it done in all assets so far.
And their coach, Jamie Zorbo, had a conversation with us yesterday. He says that their team wants to focus on themselves during this non-conference portion of the schedule. So far, he said that they've struggled to find balance, though, between their defense and their offense. They have to put a complete game together.
Yeah, when you get that offensive-defensive balance, yeah, he's still trying to get that worked out a little bit, but much improved last week. And like I say, they're 2-0, so it's hard to fault anything they've seen right now so far.
And Manchester may not be the most renowned program in terms of Division III college football over the last couple of years, but Kalamazoo has said that they are not going to take this game lightly. They're going to focus on themselves and not play down to the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Manchester, yeah, you look, they're 0-2. You're like, okay, but yeah, they've with them scrimmaging like they have it's two teams that know each other very well, so they know Manchester's going to come out here and be a very, very tough opponent this afternoon.
There's a couple of key players to look at for Kalamazoo. The first player to look at is the quarterback/punter, Josh Nichols. He had a terrific week last week in terms of throwing the football, but also in terms of kicking the football. He was the MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week this past week for punting a ball 71 yards at one point in that game last week against Kenyon. He's going to be a big problem on special teams, but as well as the quarterback.
That's one thing I don't know if I've ever seen, a quarterback/punter, and Special Teams Player of the Week for your quarterback as well. He's also a quarterback averaging over 200 passing yards a game, has not turned the ball over, has not been picked off at all in the first two games. Great athlete here, Josh Nichols.
And they're starting running back Sheldon Riley's coming off probably the best appearance of his career, definitely of the season. Went for 16 carries and 74 yards in that game against Kenyon as well.
You're going to see a big dose of Sheldon Riley in this game as well, averaging about almost 20 carries a game. Like you said, 16 last week, 18 in his first game, so we're going to see a lot of him as well.
And we already mentioned the head coach, Jamie Zorbo, now in his 17th season with Kalamazoo. He brings in a 51-101 record. By the way, he's a Kalamazoo alum, and he's also the new athletic director at Kalamazoo as well. So a lot of good things going on for Jamie Zorbo, and especially for this Kalamazoo Hornets team who have started this game, or I should say this season, 2-0, looking to make it 3-0 against Manchester. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the Manchester Trojans here on IndianaSRN.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Welcome back to Spartan Stadium on IndianaSRN as Kalamazoo prepares to take on Manchester. Speaking of the Trojans, they're coming off a really tough loss to Concordia of Chicago this past weekend. They were down big in that game, but mounted a huge fourth-quarter comeback that ultimately ended up coming up short.
Andrew Romero came on in relief in that game and almost single-handedly led them back for Manchester in that game. Getting down that big, that's something that Manchester's not going to be able to afford to do today against this Kalamazoo team.
Manchester outscored Concordia 21-7 in the final quarter, but they just needed a little bit of an extra push. They were not able to get it. Speaking of Romero, he was the quarterback last week in the second half. He will be starting today. Dante Cheney, the typical starting quarterback for this Manchester team, will be out. Romero will get the start. He played a majority of that fourth quarter and nearly brought Manchester back for a win.
Yeah, it's anxious to see how we're going to see Romero since he's going to have a full game to work with now to see how he can react with his team. He's got those three running back threats as well, so I'm anxious to see if he's going to throw in a lot of the passing game or if he's going to rely on this running back trio he's got right now.
And one of the starting running backs that he has, James Lewis, coming off his first 100-yard rushing game of his career. He had a massive 60-yard touchdown run to put Manchester up in that game, and they weren't able to finish the job, but he had a terrific day. He's looking to do more of the same today.
And we'll see how much we see Lewis, and we're also about Cameron Hovey as well on the running back, so I'm anxious to see if we see both of those running backs go at it. This is a team that...
We'll take a quick step aside here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Welcome back to Spartan Stadium on IndianaSRN as Manchester prepares to take on Kalamazoo. We'll finish talking about Manchester. We were just talking about James Lewis, the running back, having a big game last week. The head coach, Van Hunt, in his second year with a 1-11 record. He's trying to rebuild this program. It's going to be a process.
It's work in progress, as we always talk about. Yeah, he's starting to get that offense developed. They had a rough first game. As the second game went on, you see the offense is starting to pick up. Now, if he can get that defensive balance as well, this Manchester team is going to be much improved by the end of the season.
Now, John, what's going to be the big key that you're looking at today in this game?
Well, I'm looking at basically on the defensive side. Kalamazoo, they have forced 3 turnovers in their first 2 games. Manchester, on the other hand, has given it up 4 times in the last 2 games. That's something that's going to have to be cleaned up. That's actually the big matchup I'm looking for, is on the defensive side for Kalamazoo.
The Kalamazoo Hornets and the Manchester Spartans coming up here on IndianaSRN. We'll take one final step aside, return with the kickoff from Manchester.
The flow of the program, the opportunities of getting really hands-on is crucial for this profession.
We don't have classes during our clinicals, so we can be full-time at our clinicals, which is unique to Manchester.
And you have more say on where you go your second year based on your interests. I feel like I'm ready as I could possibly be to start my career with professional baseball. So that's where I'll be headed after graduation. Come to Manchester. It's a great program. It really is.
IndianaSRN is brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment. Reynolds Farm Equipment is a leading equipment dealer since 1955. Passionate Care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. Boilermaker Local 374. Boilermaker Local 374 represents highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. Wheeler Mission. For over 125 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community. Burtner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. The Morales Group. We're in business to create a better future for you and your family. Northwestern Mutual, inspiring people to repeatedly take action on their financial goals. Indiana Laborers District Council. The 12,000 Hoosier men and women with the Laborers District Council and affiliated local unions that build Indiana. We are LeUna. And by the IndianaSRN Sports page. Follow the sports page every day with updated news from coast to coast. Log on at IndianaSRN.com and click on our tab. Manchester won the coin toss. They've elected to receive the first half kickoff. That means Kalamazoo will have the football coming out of the locker room as we are ready to go from the northern half of Indiana. Kick on its way, and that one will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. This will be our first look at the Spartans offense, again led by Andrew Romero, who will be getting the start today in place of Dante Cheney, who will be out of today's contest. He went 6 for 15 last week against Concordia, but did throw for 2 touchdowns and nearly led the Spartans back in a comeback win effort.
It's going to be very interesting. We were talking about in the pregame, Manchester went down big last week, and before coming back in the second half, that's going to be something they are not going to be able to afford to do today against Kalamazoo.
First down and 10 from the 25. That will be where the Spartans will begin this game. A couple of receivers out there as well as his running back, James Lewis. It's a keeper. Romero gets in trouble and is taken down for a loss.
Tried the quarterback keeper right there, but Kalamazoo unfazed right there and a 4-yard loss on first down. Not the start Manchester was looking for.
Good stop by this Kalamazoo Hornets defense. Carson Dinas on the stop. He had 7 total tackles last year. He has led this team in tackles per game over the course of the last 2 seasons, and he gets off to a good start defensively here today. 2nd and 14. Romero has plenty of time, but steps up and gets into trouble, and that's a 2nd loss in a row to begin this game for Manchester.
Right there, Kalamazoo defense there once again. That was the matchup I was looking for, Kalamazoo defense, and so far they've had the upper hand in these first 2 plays.
2 plays, 2 losses for Manchester in the first minute of this game. Now bring up 3rd down and 13. I should say 17. From the 17, here's the snap. Romero with time, fires upfield and dropped a big hit in the open field. Aiden Paredes was the intended receiver, but how about that hit from the Kalamazoo defense? Jackson Mitchell laying that hit right there.
Great hit right there by Mitchell. Without that hit, I think that's a first down catch, and shaken up a little bit on the play there as well was the Manchester receiver.
Aiden Paredes took the hit. You'll see him right over the middle of the field. Paredes had the ball in his hands with that big hit, laid him out.
Came off his hands a little bit there, so it may have been a little bit overthrown.
We will take a quick step aside as Aiden Paredes down on the field for Manchester. 4th down upcoming. First drive of the game for Manchester, 4th and 17. The Spartans will look to punt. Aiden Paredes coming off the field under his own power after he was on the receiving end of a big hit by Jackson Mitchell for Kalamazoo, the freshman from Levine, Arizona, able to walk off. Punt's on its way. Nice kick over midfield. It'll bounce. Takes a Kalamazoo bounce, and that's where Manchester will down it at the 47. And this will be our first look at the Kalamazoo offense led by Josh Nichols, who was the MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week this past week. He doubles as a punter. He was able to boot 171 yards at one point last week against Kenyon.
As for Kalamazoo, great start for get the 3 and out, and then you're going to start with the ball at about midfield here, 48-yard line. So a great start here for Kalamazoo. Let's see if they can finish this off on the first offensive drive.
They'll have to march 53 yards, make it 52 yards to get into the end zone. They mark him at the 48. Nichols with 2 backs next to him. Pair of receivers as well. He'll snap it, play action, look over to the far side. Nice quick catch made. Jonas Spates on the reception. And they're able to get across midfield for a gain of about 4.
Spates and Hannafin, the 2 big wide receivers here for Kalamazoo. You're probably going to see them get about equal action on the receiving role today.
We have a flag on the field.
Ineligible downfield, look like.
That'll move Manchester back after the short reception. And that'll bring up first down at 15.
Tough start there for Kalamazoo getting the completion, but had man too far down the field. So instead of about 2nd and 4, you're looking at 1st and 15.
Guilty party was Alex Russell on that offensive line. That's the first penalty for Kalamazoo today. It's now 1st and 15 from their own 43. Nichols dropping back. Now he'll roll out. Throws on the run. Nice pass upfield and caught. Lucas Hannafin drawing that one in. Nice pass on the runs from Josh Nichols.
Talking about Hannafin there, the other wide receiver. Great pass right on the money from Nichols, and Hannafin getting a foot down.
Just like that, Kalamazoo in business at the Manchester 30-yard line. 1st and 10. Nichols hands it off. Sheldon Riley trying to run it up the middle. He gets forward a couple of yards before he's dragged down. Positive game nonetheless for Kalamazoo.
Good 4-yard pickup there on 1st down for Sheldon Riley. And Kalamazoo already inside the 30-yard line on this opening drive.
2nd and 7 upcoming. Nichols this past weekend passing went 14 for 29 for 115 yards. Only recorded 1 touchdown in his time on the field. Rifling a pass over to the near side. Hannafin once again on the reception. Pardon me, that was Tyler Howell on the catch.
So now you're looking at about a 3rd and 3 here. Manchester defense needing to step up right here.
Kalamazoo wants to go quick. They'll hand it off. Riley up the middle gets the 1st down and a couple of insurance yards on top of that as Kalamazoo burst their way into the red zone.
Looked like Manchester had a chance to stop him behind the 1st down marker there, but Riley gets right through there and gets a new set of downs for Kalamazoo.
Riley this past week, 15 carries for 89 yards against Kenyon. Those are both season highs. Included a 45-yard run, which is also a season high in terms of the length of a run. Man in motion. Nichols to Riley. And he gets drilled at the 20-yard line. Nice defensive stand for Manchester.
Great job there by Manchester, forcing a loss on 1st down. We're going to have about a 2nd and 12 here.
Blake Hafley in there on the stop. Now bring up 2nd down and 12.
Looks like Kalamazoo is very comfortable in the running game so far, although there's a nice stop there.
Riley in motion. They'll air it out. Nichols to the end zone and just out of reach for his intended target. That was Nate Clark, the tight end, who couldn't reach it.
Yeah, just a little overthrown there, and now another big 3rd down coming up.
Golden opportunity for Manchester to get a defensive stop and try to hold Kalamazoo to maybe 3 points in the best case scenario for the Hornets. They've got 2 plays to gain 12 yards. 3 out to the near side. Nichols. He's looking left. Throws it over the middle. Wide open and caught for a touchdown. Nate Clark in the end zone. He just had one lead him a little bit too far. That one was right into the midst.
Now, I don't know if that was busted coverage or what, but he was wide open there, and Nichols found him, and Kalamazoo takes the early lead.
First touchdown on the season for Nate Clark, the 5'10 senior from Saranac, Michigan. He's able to make the reception and get Kalamazoo on the board. Emery Robertson to kick. Low snap, kicks on its way, and it's a rifling kick through the uprights and good. Oh no, they say no good. They said no good, so Kalamazoo misses the PAT. And Manchester does give up 6, but they don't give up the full 7 off the missed kick from Kalamazoo. So 6-0 Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. The Spartans will get the football when we come back on IndianaSRN.
An active athlete looking for enhanced performance, comfort, and recovery? Then Skins is the perfect choice for you. Our revolutionary sports compression product provides better oxygen flow in your muscles, helps reduce fatigue and pain from intense physical activity, allowing athletes to push their boundaries and perform better.
Skins helps keep everything, including you, on track.
So don't wait any longer. Get your Skins now and experience unbeatable performance.
Take your game to the next level with Skins.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
Sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families.
Kalamazoo on the board as we return to Spartan Stadium in Manchester. Spartans will receive this one inside their own 5, and they'll run it out across the 20-yard line. Not a whole lot of room to operate there for Manchester. Here's another look at that touchdown for Nate Clark.
Yeah, you see Clark getting right past the defense, getting right through the defense, and wide open there, Clark, for the opening touchdown for Kalamazoo.
Second opportunity for the Spartan offense. They went 3 and out on their first series. They'll try to turn the tide on this offensive set right here. They're in a 6-0 hole. Kalamazoo with the touchdown. They missed the PAT. 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Andrew Romero, the quarterback, getting the start in place of Dante Cheney, who is out of today's ball game. The handoff. James Lewis to the left side, gets a couple of positive yards, bounces off another tackle before he falls out of bounds.
Great job there by Lewis, getting about 3 or 4 extra yards there after he was initially hit after just a 2-yard gain. Great job there by Lewis.
Lewis this past week went for 8 carries, 146 yards, did record a touchdown. Of course, that touchdown being the big 60-yard carry that he had to keep Manchester in the game this past weekend against Concordia in a game that they almost came back from. They're already in a 6-0 hole now against Kalamazoo. Romero, the freshman, takes the snap, hands it off. Lewis again. This time he gets blown up at the line of scrimmage.
Not fooled that time. Guarding that scrimmage there defensively for Kalamazoo, and another 3rd down coming up for Manchester.
Nolan Janiga in there on the stop, number 96 in white at the center of your screen. And brings up 3rd down and 5 for Manchester.
Manchester, it's going to be very important for them to keep the drive going here. You can't afford a second straight 3 and out, especially the way Kalamazoo plays offense.
Romero waiting the snap, gets it. Pressure comes, he'll throw it over the middle. Ball's caught. It's past the 1st down marker as Abdul Amir is able to make the grab.
Only his 4th reception of the year for Abdul Amir. Gets the 1st down there and keeps the sticks moving for Manchester. Great job there.
He had a terrific day this past weekend against Concordia. 3 receptions for 71 yards. He's able to make the catch for the 1st down, the first of the day for Manchester. High snap. Romero going to try to make something out of nothing, and he's not able to do so.
I don't know if that was a design run or if that would just end up being a run because of the high snap there, but that play was a little bit busted play there from the beginning.
Good heads-up play by Romero. Because of the high snap, pressure was coming. He really didn't have a whole lot that he could do except try to put it on the ground.
Luckily, he made it back to the line of scrimmage there, so officially no gain there, or not a sack, I should say.
2nd down and 10. Romero, quick pass over the middle. That's in trouble. It was batted away. Adam Stapleton there to deflect it.
Dangerous play right there. And Romero lucky that wasn't picked off. It'll be a 3rd down again for Manchester.
The last time they ran a 3rd down play was about 3rd down and 5. This one twice the distance. Couple of substitutions in for Manchester. And a crucial play if they want to keep this drive alive. 3 receivers to the far side. Romero looking that way. In trouble. Weaving in the pocket, but gets taken down inside his own 30.
Well, Kalamazoo brought the blitz there, it looked like, and able to get to Romero. Absolutely nothing he could do there. And Kalamazoo forces another punt.
Nolan Janinga once again in there on the stop. He gets the sack. 4th down and 15 now, and Manchester's going to have to punt the football.
Tough start for Manchester offensively. 2 punts on their 2 offensive drives so far.
Diego Mogul out there to kick it away. Puts a nice boot into this one. Cross midfield. It's taken at the 33. On the run to the far side. Spates takes a big hit. Flag flies. He's just shy of the Manchester 40. We'll see what the laundry's about.
Spates with a great return there into Manchester territory, but I think you're going to see this one coming back here a little bit.
There were a couple of big blocks on that run by Spates, but was one of them illegal? The officials certainly implying that with the direction they're walking.
Return team, number 44. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Kalamazoo keeps the ball. First down.
Zach Sykes, the guilty party, with the block in the back. And that is a big flipping of the field right there for Kalamazoo. They would have been on the Manchester 40.
About a 25-yard penalty there as it turned out. Instead of the 41 of Manchester, you're back at your own 34.
Nichols went 2 for 3 on that first drive. One of those receptions resulted in a touchdown. In the pocket, has time, now will go make something on his own. Gets a block, stumbles to the ground, gets about a yard on the gain. It'll be about 2nd down and 9, maybe 2nd down and 8.
It looked like everybody might have been covered downfield, so Nichols just getting what he could there on first down.
We have an injured Manchester Spartan down on the field, so we will take a quick step aside. Return here in a minute on Indiana SRN.
At Manchester University, we're excited to be offering a unique pathway to become a registered dietitian. We are one of the only nutrigenomics programs in the United States, looking at how a person's genes are affected by the nutrition. This allows us to be much more precise and personalize our recommendations for our patients in the future. Our program is a traditional 2-year graduate program, and this program does include your coursework, which is all online, and also your supervised experiential learning done in your home.
Welcome back to Manchester University and Spartan Stadium on Indiana SRN. Kalamazoo leading Manchester 6-0. The Hornets with the football. There was an injured Manchester Spartan on the ground. We don't know who exactly it was, but the player is up and off of the field. Josh Nichols already with 1 touchdown throw today. He'll hand it off to his back, Riley. Gets a couple of positive yards until he's taken down right at the 40.
4-yard pickup there. Got about half of what he needed. It's a 3rd down here. Let's see if Manchester can get a much-needed 3rd down stop here.
3rd down and 5 will be the down and distance. Very manageable for this Kalamazoo Hornets offense. Nichols gets rid of it, and what a catch by Sheldon Riley if he controlled it, and he did. Nearly got away from him, but he was able to control it. 1st down for the Hornets.
Great job by Riley. Looked like the pass was a little bit behind him, but able to corral it and get a foot down. 1st down, Kalamazoo. Great job.
At midfield, 1st down and 10 for the Hornets. That pass a little bit too far. Flag's going to fly, though, and this might be pass interference.
Yeah, pass interference or defensive holding, I think you're going to see here against Manchester.
Jonas Spates was the intended receiver, and it looked as though when our camera panned over to him, he had absolutely no shot of getting to that one, and there might have been a reason why.
Holding, defense, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot with an automatic 1st down.
Yandel Victoriano is the guilty party. That'll be a free 10 yards for Kalamazoo.
Which you just cannot give an offense like Kalamazoo free yards like Manchester just did right there.
Nichols dropping back. Near side, ball's caught. Forward a couple of yards. Nice take for the Hornets. On the reception, Thomas Shemwell making the grab.
5th different receiver already that Nichols has found in this 1st quarter for Kalamazoo. Nice balance.
Second down and 2 upcoming. Play number 6 of this drive for Kalamazoo imminent. Whistle blows. Another Manchester player is down. So we'll take another quick step aside. On Indiana SRN, Kalamazoo up top, 6-0 over Manchester. IndianaSRN is brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment. Reynolds Farm Equipment is a leading equipment dealer serving farmers, homeowners, landscapers, and commercial contractors in and throughout Indiana. Nothing runs like a deer. Give us a call today at 317-849-0810. Injured Manchester Spartan down on the field. Officials took a timeout. Kalamazoo up top 6-0 over Manchester. They scored on a touchdown pass to Nate Clark. They missed the PAT. Player is up for Manchester, and he's walking off under his own power. So a good sign for Manchester, who's already seen multiple players go down with injuries, all of them able to walk off under their own power, which is a good sign. But a good sign for Kalamazoo, they've looked really comfortable on offense.
Yeah, getting it done both on the running game and passing game so far. You like that balance you've seen so far for Kalamazoo, and Manchester desperately needing a defensive stop here.
Jamie Zorbo said that they are trying to work on themselves during this non-conference slate in order to prepare themselves for the MIAA conference slate coming up. Nice take over the middle by Sheldon Riley, who takes a tumble. That'll be enough for a first down.
Sheldon Riley getting the carry there, his 5th carry here in the first quarter, and moving the sticks once again for Kalamazoo.
From the 26. Kalamazoo undefeated so far in this young season, sitting at 2-0. Manchester sitting at 0-2. Nice pass up ahead to the end zone. Touchdown for Kalamazoo. Second touchdown of the day for Nate Clark. And the Hornets off to a great start here at Manchester.
I saw Nichols had a whole bunch of running room there as himself to run. I was looking for him to run it, but then he finds Clark wide open down the field for the second time in this game.
Nate Clark recorded his first touchdown of the day on that first possession. He recorded his second of the year on that last possession. PAT upcoming for Emory Roberts. He missed the first one. He's going to try to redeem himself right here. Snap is back. This one a lot cleaner, and that one's good. 65 yards march for Kalamazoo. They get on the board for the second time in 2 attempts, and they lead 13-0 over Manchester. We'll be right back on IndianaSRN after this commercial break. IndianaSRN is brought to you by Morales Group Staffing. We're in business to create a better future for you, for your family, and for the community we share. We can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate for your company. Call us today at 317-472-7600. Kalamazoo on top of Manchester 13-0 with 3:38 to go in the first quarter from Spartan Stadium. And so far, John, Kalamazoo has looked very calm and poised on offense.
We were talking about in the pregame, and talking to Coach Zorbo, trying to get that balance of offense and defense here, and I think mission accomplished so far here in this first quarter for Kalamazoo so far.
Nate Clark, the tight end, did not have a touchdown coming into today's game. He already has 2 receptions that have made their way into the end zone. Emory Roberts set to kick it away. Southpaw puts a boot into this one. And Lewis fields it. Lewis out to the far side, trying to go off the backside of a block, but doesn't get very far, out of bounds, just past the 20.
It's going to be a very important, I know we're still in the first quarter, but this is going to be a very, very important drive for Manchester. They've had their defense out there a long time so far. It's going to be very important for them to have a sustained drive here.
There's another look at that touchdown pass to Nate Clark.
Yeah, Clark getting free there. Nichols finds him, and a touchdown for the second time in this first quarter between the two.
This is our third look at Andrew Romero, the freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, getting the start again because Dante Chaney is out of today's ball game. We never got a reason for that call being made. However, Andrew Romero had a terrific outing in the second half last week against Concordia. He's off to a little bit of a slow start today, but they'll try to shake off some of the rust. Ball's complete to the near sideline. But Kalamazoo's defense all over that reception. Tyreek Dawes on the reception, but it doesn't get very far.
Yeah, that fooled absolutely nobody on the Kalamazoo defense and leads to about a 4-yard loss on first down here.
They get back to the line of scrimmage. I should say no, they did not. They're 4 yards back of the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 14. Man in motion. Manchester taking their time. Romero. Plenty of time. Now pressure comes. He's able to evade it. Throws on the run, and it's intercepted. No, it's dropped. It was right in the hands of O'Marion Hall, but he wasn't able to haul that one in.
Romero very fortunate because that was a clean interception right there. We're going to take a look at it right here. You see Romero looking to his left right there, sees a receiver, but also the Kalamazoo defender, that's an interception catch you got to make, and he knows it.
And he had another receiver right in front of him who he would have thrown it a little bit lower. He would have been wide open. Instead, Manchester looking at 3rd and long. Romero looking, has time, runs out of the pocket again. Nice juke, breaks another tackle, stays on his feet, but didn't have anywhere to go. Romero refusing to go down, but he ran out of real estate.
Yeah, great job there by Romero getting what he could there, but just nothing at all he could do there. And once again, Manchester going to be forced to punt this football away.
It's been rough going for Manchester so far. And they're going to have to punt the football yet again. Angel Estrada out to punt this one away. He's inside his own 5. The snap gets the kick away. Another good-looking kick. Estrada has had a couple of good boots so far. Trying to run it back for Kalamazoo is Jonas Spades, but he is swarmed near midfield.
Great special teams coverage there by Manchester, limiting the return there, but Kalamazoo is going to start on Manchester's side of the field here.
Approaching 60 seconds to go until the end of the first quarter of play. Manchester will start. I should say Kalamazoo will start in Manchester territory. So relatively short field, but good special teams play by Manchester to keep them at bay. Maybe 1st and 10 from Manchester's 46.
See Nichols pass for 92 yards so far here in this first quarter. Let's see if he continues to stick with that balance offensively.
This is the best starting field position that Kalamazoo has had all day. The handoff. Up the middle. Nice carry. Thomas Shemwell, the backup running back, able to get forward for a couple of yards.
First time we've seen Shemwell into the game today, and a nice pickup there on first down. 7 yards.
2nd and short coming up. Kalamazoo going quick. Shemwell again. Finds a gap, evades a tackle, and gets forward towards the 30. It looks like they'll mark him at the 32, maybe the 31.5. As time continues to run here in the first quarter.
Great job here. Back-to-back carries for Shemwell, and Kalamazoo on the drive once again here. See if they try to get another playoff. Looks like they will.
Shemwell had a decent day against Kenyon. 9 carries for 25 yards. Final play of the first quarter. Nichols drops back and fires it downfield and over the head of his intended receiver, Lucas Hannafin. Couldn't catch up to that one. That's the final play of the first quarter. And at the end of the first 15 minutes, 13-0, Kalamazoo on top of Manchester from Spartan Stadium. We'll take a quick step aside and return on the other side of this break on IndianaSRN. The officials reset the game clock to 4 seconds, so there's one final play here in the first quarter. Nichols with the snap. Hands it off. Shemwell gets forward a couple more yards. And now that will be the end of the first quarter of play. Again, 13-0 as Kalamazoo on top of Manchester here on Indiana SRN.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
Indiana SRN is brought to you by Boilermaker Local 374. Boilermakers Local 374 represents highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. When you need a safe, dependable workforce for a new build, an upgrade, or facility maintenance, you can count on Boilermakers Union Local 374 to do your job right the first time. First play of the second quarter, Nichols dropping back as Manchester has the ball just outside their own 30. He'll weave his way through a couple of defenders, but only gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Great tackle there by Manchester, and now it's going to bring up fourth down here. First fourth down that Kalamazoo's had to face today, and let's see what they do here. You'd be looking at about a 48-yard field goal from this distance, so they look like they can keep the offense out there.
This drive began at Manchester's 46-yard line. It was the best field position that Kalamazoo has had all day. They scored on their first two possessions, but now the Hornets' backs against the wall in their third possession. Fourth and standard distance. Nichols dropping back to pass. A bullet of a pass up the field. Incomplete. It was denied by Yandel Victoriano. And that's a turnover on downs. He might have had a case for a potential pass interference, but no flag was made.
I was wondering about that because the defender really didn't turn around for the ball, but no flag was thrown, and a much-needed defensive stand there for Manchester.
And look at the energy over on Van Hunt's Manchester sideline. You don't think the Spartans aren't into this game?
Now let's see if the offense can take advantage here because the offense really held in check in that first quarter.
Yeah, the numbers definitely swing in favor of Kalamazoo in terms of total offense so far, John.
And let's see if that, with that defensive stand, if it kind of gets the momentum shifted the other way, and let's see if it finally gets the offense going here.
So Manchester takes over on downs. They'll begin at their own 32-yard line. Have to march 68 yards to get into the end zone. The handoff. Nice run up the middle. James Lewis getting across midfield, or getting close to midfield, I should say, and it wasn't Lewis on the run.
Nice run there and gets Manchester up near midfield on this first down play. Their biggest offensive play of the game so far. That's 14-yard pickup there.
The handoff once again going up the middle and across midfield.
So Manchester going to a little bit of the running game here, see if they can get that running game going. So far, so good on the first two plays.
Second down and 5 now for Manchester as they burst into Kalamazoo territory. The snap, the handoff. Up the middle, Lewis turning a corner, gets his way down to the 40 for a first down. And how about Manchester? Their offense starting to come alive here in the second quarter.
Getting that running game going here at Manchester, definitely their best offensive series of the game so far, marching it into Kalamazoo territory for the first time in this game.
So Manchester marching their way down the field. This drive began at their own 32-yard line. They've made it down to the 40. 28 yards covered so far. Romero hands it off, up the middle once again. We don't have a 29 on our roster, so we don't have an identity. And I don't think the PA announcer on site did either. Might be able to hear a little bit of his audio coming through. So the mystery man for Manchester making a big-time impact on this game.
25 yards on 3 carries in this drive so far for him.
Romero in the gun. Manchester driving. Hands it off once again. This time Kalamazoo able to read it relatively well. They have to give up a couple of yards, but they're able to mitigate what Manchester was able to do on that play.
It will be a 3rd down and 2 here, and with the stage of the game, you know you're 13-0. You're probably out of field goal range. You figure this is for sure 4-down territory here. 2 chances to get 2 yards here.
They'll hand it off again. Spinning past a tackle, getting forward to the 30-yard line. How about Manchester?
And how about that effort we saw right there? Kalamazoo had him stopped behind the 1st down marker, but the strength and gets the 1st down right there.
And that is enough for Manchester. 4th down, 10 Spartans at the Hornets 30-yard line.
Approaching the 10.5-minute mark of this second quarter. It's been all Kalamazoo so far, but Manchester has roared alive on this drive. It started at their own 32. They are now at Kalamazoo's 30 with a fresh set of downs. The handoff again. Nice read by the defense for Kalamazoo. Bursting into the backfield, Raymond Cargill on the stop.
That time it fooled absolutely no one, and a 4-yard loss on 1st down for Manchester, marching them back to the 34-yard line.
Under 10 minutes. Manchester slowing things down a little bit right here. Lewis the back. Romero the quarterback. Play action. Quick pass, incomplete. Intended target for the Spartans was James Thomas, the wideout, and he couldn't make the catch.
First time they put it in the air on this drive here, but now you're looking at about a 3rd and 14 situation here for Manchester.
And after Manchester did a terrific job of moving the football up the field, almost it seems as though they were a freight train moving their way into Kalamazoo territory, they've all of a sudden hit the brakes. They have to get down to the 20-yard line. They sit at the 34. Romero looking. Downfield, left it short, and it's intercepted. Kalamazoo with the football, and it's returned out near the 50-yard line. Brandon Speed turning on the Jets to get out towards midfield on that pickoff.
A great drive, stalls out right there on the pick. The defender was wide open there. I don't know if that was a missed assignment by the receivers. We're going to take a look at it here. And you see going to the right, and I think I don't know if that was just a missed assignment by the receiver or if the quarterback missed the play call, but, defender was wide open right there for the pick.
The best drive by Manchester all day ends in an interception inside their own 35-yard line. Kalamazoo now in business at their own 47. Man in motion. Nichols keeping it out to the far sideline, and that's actually the backup quarterback, Dawson Scoopin, making his first appearance on the day. Junior out of South Lyon, Michigan. He saw 6 appearances in each of the last 2 seasons. He only made 1 appearance so far this year, and it was in their last game against Kenyon in that 28-7 victory for the Hornets.
Looks like he's trying to out-coach Schumann here in a 13-0 lead, see what he can bring offensively.
Play action, pass over the middle, caught. near the first down marker, might be a hair short. Nate Clark, who has 2 touchdowns so far on the day, able to make that reception, the tight end.
Right at the first down marker there, and they're going to give him the first down here for Kalamazoo.
So they move the chains. Nate Clark able to make the first down reception. Kalamazoo trying to put together their 3rd scoring drive in 4 attempts. They scored in their first 2. Pressure coming. Throw once again. Clark on the reception. Nice shoestring tackle by the Manchester defense there on the stop. Mitch Rosselli. Javion Davis on the stop.
Clark's 4th catch here of the first half. 56 yards on his 4 catches, and Kalamazoo on the drive once again.
Scubin with his first couple of completions on the year. He did not complete a pass in his only appearance this past weekend against Kenyon. Hannafin in motion. He'll keep it. Scooping up the gut for positive yardage.
Yeah, getting a couple there once again. I believe moving the chains once again here for Kalamazoo.
New set of downs for Kalamazoo as they continue to push the ball up the field as we approach the 7.5-minute mark of the second quarter. Man in motion. Scoop it off his back foot. Oh, just out of the reach of Nate Clark, who's had a terrific day so far today. He tried to reach for it, but couldn't bring it in.
And if that was going to be completed, that was going to be the 3rd receiving touchdown of the half because he was wide open. There was nothing but green ahead of him, just a little out of his reach right there.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 10 from the 33. Pair of receivers to the far side for Dawson Scoopin. He quickly rolls out to his left, throws it back. This is a trick play. On the run, there's a lot of space. He might go all the way. No, he will not. He's tackled inside the 10. Brilliant play call for Kalamazoo. Hayden Johnston on that trick play, able to take it inside the 10.
Great play there. Manchester not expecting that at all. And Kalamazoo drives to a 1st and goal on the verge of scoring yet again.
1st and goal inside the 10-yard line. Scoopin hands it off. Up the middle. Sheldon Riley trying to plow his way forward, but he's not able to get in.
Getting a couple extra yards there with the extra effort. Getting up inside the 5-yard line here.
Ball's at the 2. Scoopin to Riley. And he loses the football in the end zone, but they say he got in anyway. 3rd touchdown of the day for Kalamazoo. They take a 20-0 lead over Manchester.
Yeah, Riley able to get the ball across there right before he lost it, and Kalamazoo takes advantage of that interception for 6 more.
Should say 19-0 Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. Of course, the missed field goal earlier today by Emory Roberts. He was able to redeem himself after the last touchdown. He'll try to keep the streak going. There's the snap. Southpaw boots this one up and right down the middle. 20-0 Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. The Hornets are able to pick off the Spartans, and it leads to the 3rd touchdown of the day for Kalamazoo. We'll return right here on IndianaSRN right after this break. IndianaSRN is brought to you by Passion Care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. As prestige healthcare company, Passion Care is driven by decades of expertise and a drive to go above and beyond. Call us today at 317-537-1811. 20-0 Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. Emory Roberts set to kick this one away. Sheldon Riley struck from 2 yards out after the Hornets were able to pick off the Spartans in their own territory. Kick's on its way, and a fair catch called inside the 10 by James Lewis. Take another look at that touchdown run.
Yeah, we're going to look at it right here. And able to get the ball across just before losing it for the 6-point Kalamazoo touchdown there in a 20-0 lead.
So Manchester marches back onto the field. They're coming off their best drive that they have had so far today. It started at their own 32. They were able to get inside of Kalamazoo's 35-yard line before their drive stalled out. And eventually, an interception was thrown by their starting quarterback, Andrew Romero. Whistle blows. Everyone relaxes for a minute. And after the start that Manchester had on their last drive and also the way that it finished, that's the last thing that you want to see happen if you're a Spartan.
Yeah, tough break there. Delay a game on the first snap right after the kickoff. And they're backed up 1st and 15 now inside their 20.
Romero drops back. Now will step forward. He's able to make a little bit of something. Gets dragged down from behind, but positive yardage nonetheless. And a good read by Andrew Romero.
Nice job seeing he had a little bit of green in front of him. Gets back to almost the original line of scrimmage here. Thought we might see Manchester go into a little bit more of a, I don't know necessarily a hurry up, but a little bit more offensively here, a little bit quicker offensively here in the 20-point hole.
Under 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Kalamazoo with the 20-0 advantage. Lewis on the move. He'll get the handoff. Running to the outside, takes a nice hit. He gets out short of the 25. Clock will continue to run. That'll bring up 3rd down and long.
It'll pick up a couple there, but yeah, like you said, another 3rd and long situation here for Manchester. Their defense was just on the field for about 4 minutes on that last drive. One play away from sending their defense on the field again here.
This drive started with a delay of game penalty that moved them back 5 yards. In the 2 plays since, they've only made up 4. Third and 11. Romero scanning, weaving, staying on his feet, looking upfield. What does he have? Quick pass over the middle, and it falls short for Duriel Moss Jr., and that brings up 4th down and 11.
Romero tried to make something there. There was just nothing there. The Kalamazoo defense was right there. Everybody covered, and Romero just had to throw an incomplete pass here, and another 3 and out for Manchester.
Well, if you have to look at one of the positives that this young man and Andrew Romero, the freshman, has, it's the ability to weave his way in and out of traffic when that pocket's collapsing. That'll bring on Angel Estrada for his 4th punt of the day. Feed at the 10. Dangerous kick right there. It nearly got blocked. This one's sky high, and it has a lot of distance, and it takes a terrific bounce for the Spartans. It dies at the 26, and that's where Kalamazoo will take over. And a beautiful kick from Angel Estrada.
And a much-needed great kick there for Estrada, as it's going to pin Kalamazoo back. Possibly some of their worst starting field position of the entire day here.
IndianaSRN is brought to you by Make a Difference. Help us put more student-athletes on TV by logging on to IndianaSRN.org and directing your donation to a specific school or hit the donate button. More games, more opportunities for our kids. IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat. Kalamazoo with the football once again. Throw over the middle. Caught. Big gain to begin this drive for the Hornets. On the catch, Andrew Durbin, the tight end.
6 different receiver as we see Nichols back in at quarterback here. And a 1st down catch for 20 yards to Durbin.
Nichols, the starter, took the last possession off as Dawson Skupin was able to lead Kalamazoo to their 3rd touchdown of the day. Nichols over the middle. Dangerous pass deflected and almost picked off. Right there awaiting it, Yandel Victoriano for Manchester.
Yeah, Nichols, luckily that's an incomplete pass because that had interception wrote all over it. 2nd down, though.
3rd and 10. The handoff to the far side. Shemwell gets eaten up, and Manchester's defense stands strong.
Nothing doing there. Manchester getting a much-needed stop on 2nd down, and now a 3rd down coming up here for Kalamazoo. See if Manchester can get this stop and get the ball back.
So now 3rd down and 10 upcoming. They have to get to the 48-yard line of Manchester. Whistle blows. And a timeout's going to be called. So Manchester will take a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well with 3:59 to go. 20-0. Kalamazoo with the ball on 3rd down and 10 on IndianaSRN. IndianaSRN is brought to you by Piper Logistics. For more than 2 decades, the seasoned professionals at Piper Logistics have consistently been the trusted allies for all your inventory management, warehouse fulfillment, and transportation needs. We stand as your comprehensive logistics partner. Ride with us. Call us today at 317-396-1023. 3:59 to go in the 2nd quarter from Spartan Stadium. Manchester in a 20-0 hole against Kalamazoo, but they have a chance to get Kalamazoo off the field if they can get a stop here on 3rd down.
And this, you get the feeling, is a must-stop with the game where it is right now, 20-0. Manchester cannot let this get any further what it is right now. This is a must-stop 3rd down stop right here.
Josh Nichols with 4 receivers, 2 split out to each side. Sheldon Riley in the backfield with him. Man jumps. This will be a free play. Nichols looking downfield, puts a cannon underneath of this one out of the reach of his intended receiver. Braden Lavis trying to run after that one. But nonetheless, Kalamazoo is going to get positive yardage off the penalty.
They knew they had a free play there, so they figure why not try to go deep, and let's see if we can complete one.
Cameron Landrum dropping off sides. So Kalamazoo on 3rd down and 10 gets bailed out for 5 yards, but they still have to complete a 3rd down conversion. Coming into the game, Kalamazoo was 11 for 31 on 3rd down conversions. And they'll have a respectable distance to try to complete right here. Nichols dropping back, pressure coming, he knows it. Tries to evade the tackle, but he's brought down. Ball is loose. They say he was down. Great tackle on the part of Jalen Grimes getting into the backfield. He had 9 tackles against Concordia last week. He gets a big tackle for loss there.
Yeah, big stop there and forcing a punt. Looked like Nichols was a little shaken getting up there as well.
And Grimes fired up as he walks back to the sideline. We'll have to keep an eye on how Nichols is moving around when he comes back onto the field, if he comes back onto the field. And they have a backup who they've already put out there in Dawson Scoopin. But it doesn't matter at this point because Manchester's getting the football back. And they do not put Josh Nichols out there to punt. Again, he booted one for 71 yards last week. That was good enough to give him MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week. So the kick on its way. And it bounces out of bounds near the 25-yard line. That's exactly where they will mark it. So with 2:49 to go, Manchester will take over. IndianaSRN is brought to you by Dynamark. Looking to elevate your brand? Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years, Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service. Call us today at 317-328-2555.
Manchester needing a strong drive here towards the end of the first half. We're going to see Kalamazoo get the ball to start the second half, so Manchester could use a score here definitely before the first half ends.
From the 26, quick handoff over the middle, not a whole lot of room. Once again, our unnamed player, who again is not on the roster, not only for us, but not only for Kalamazoo, or I should say Manchester as well. And the PA guy was even having some trouble identifying him earlier today. He gets the carry, and he had a terrific day, at least early on, in that beautiful drive that Manchester put together that ultimately ended up in an interception.
Got 27 yards rushing since coming on in relief there on that last drive.
It's a shame we can't figure out who it is. Kalamazoo up 20-0. Clock continues to tick for Manchester. A touchdown before the half would be huge. Pressure coming. Romero once again elusive in the pocket. Throws it upfield. Ball complete. Manchester with positive yardage. Kalamazoo all over it to prevent any further gain. And the catch was made for Manchester's number 33, Tyreek Dawes.
Going to hit the 2-minute timeout here.
So we'll keep it with you here on IndianaSRN. 20-0 the score. Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. The Hornets struck early, John. They were able to score on their first 2 possessions and 3 out of their first 4. But over the course of the last possession, really the last 2 possessions, Manchester's offense has started to wake up.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say you're starting to see Manchester get that offensive balance that they need. It's a shame that one drive ended with that interception because you got the sense they were maybe going to be able to get some points on that drive. Well, let's see what we can do here in the end of the first half here for Manchester, see if they can get that offensive balance continuing here.
And this Manchester team is a group that desperately needs some sort of positive reinforcement for the work that they have done. This is a team that's only won 2 games over the course of the last 2 years, and they were oh so close to getting a win this past week against Concordia. They scored 21 points in that fourth quarter, but came up a point short for their second loss of the season. And again, they've shown some promising signs. Their defense has looked pretty solid at certain points throughout the game. Their offense has looked well on some drives as well, but they just can't consistently put it together.
Yeah, just play here, play there. You could have a different story here. But, yeah, Kalamazoo's defense has been outstanding in this first half as well here. Credit to them as well.
And while his arm hasn't looked great, Andrew Romero's elusiveness and agility inside the pocket, especially when pressure is coming, has been brilliant so far.
You like this quarterback with the run ability he has, like you said, eluding those tackles, or else he could have had a couple extra sacks in there for the Kalamazoo defense.
$1:57 to go until halftime. Kalamazoo trying to keep Manchester off the board. And the Spartans trying to gain any momentum that they can. Quick pass over the middle. Caught. Duriel Moss Jr. on the reception to the 45.
First reception for him today. We had an attempt earlier in the game, but nice job there, and it keeps the sticks moving here for Manchester.
Clock continuing to run under 1:45 now. And the Spartans really in no hurry to get back to the line of scrimmage.
They want to take as much time as they can and not leave Kalamazoo any time here at the end of the first half.
They still have 2 timeouts remaining. Romero hands it off to Lewis over the middle. Nearly broke through a second wave of defenders before he was taken down by the duo of Corey Garrison and Raymond Cargill.
Running game starting to get in flow here for Manchester. They've moved the ball up to midfield. Still 1:20 on the clock.
The clock still continuing to tick away as well. 2nd down and 5. Bad snap. Ball's loose. We'll see who has it at the bottom of that pile. Seems as though Manchester was able to recover it, and they did. But that's a wasted opportunity, and time continues to tick away as well for the Spartans.
Yeah, those are mistakes you cannot have. They're bad snaps, and now you're going to see the clock continuing to run. 2 timeouts here. I think Manchester, we got a stoppage here.
Connor Hindman was able to fall on top of it. And we'll see what the stoppage is about. Well, they're talking right now to Connor Hindman, the offensive lineman. 5'11", 250 senior out of Whitehall, Indiana, and a product of Tri-Central High School. 45 seconds and ticking for Manchester. It's got to be quick if the Spartans want to get on the board before halftime. Quick pass out to the near side. Lewis on the reception, gets absolutely nowhere and actually goes backwards 3 yards. And a big defensive stop for Kalamazoo.
It was a little bit of a low snap there, and it was a designed screen pass. You have to wonder if the low snap kind of threw off the timing on the pass there a little bit.
Manchester visibly frustrated as they walk back to the bench. We have a timeout. Kalamazoo will call it with 34 5/10 of a second remaining until halftime.
Well, Manchester is going to have to punt the ball, but the good news out of this for Manchester, they're not going to leave Kalamazoo a whole lot of time here to do much of anything here at the end of the first half.
We'll see how Kalamazoo plays this out. They only have 2 timeouts remaining. Clock will stop after the return, depending on how far downfield it gets. And Kalamazoo still has the opportunity to score before halftime, although they're going to have to be very strategic about how they go about it.
Yeah, you're going to have to work the sideline if you're going to try and get some more points here if you're Kalamazoo, although you do have 2 timeouts, so the running game could still come into play.
Now the bad news for Kalamazoo is that Angel Estrada, who has been terrific kicking the ball earlier today, will be the man to boot this away for Manchester. He was able to pin Manchester inside their own 25-yard line on their last kick, and a punt that covered, I believe, over 40 yards. 34.5 seconds remaining in the second quarter of play from Spartan Stadium. And Angel Estrada will boot this one away. He has a powerful leg. It's worth noting that the last kick that Estrada got off nearly got blocked. Had a lot of topspin on it, though, which gave a terrific Manchester bounce inside the 25. Pressure coming again, and he barely gets this one away. To the sideline, out of bounds at the 25. And that's where Kalamazoo will take over. They'll have to march 70-plus yards to get to the end zone with 2 timeouts and only 27 seconds to go. There's a flag on the field. This one back near where the reception would have been made at.
I have to see what this is here.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on both Kalamazoo, number 7, Manchester, number 30. Those penalties will offset. It's first down, Kalamazoo.
Zach Maurice for Kalamazoo, Gabe Hernandez for Manchester. 27 and 6/10 of a second remaining for Kalamazoo from the 26, so they'll have to march 74 yards, and they still have 2 timeouts in their pocket.
I don't know with 27 seconds, even though Kalamazoo has 2 timeouts, I don't think you're just going to see him take a knee here, be confident heading in, or comfortable heading in the locker room.
That's exactly what they'll do. Nichols will put a knee down, and that will send us to halftime. 20-0, Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. The Spartans trying to put up a fight, but so far, no luck for the gold and black, as Kalamazoo will take the lead to the locker room. We'll take a quick step aside, and we'll return in a couple of minutes for our halftime show here on IndianaSRN.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN. We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Welcome back to HCAC TV. Kalamazoo on top of Manchester 20-0 as we reached halftime. Cruz Martin alongside my partner John Lester. John, Kalamazoo was in control, at least from a statistical standpoint, but Manchester has definitely put up a fight, but unfortunately for the Spartans, they really haven't been able to put anything together in terms of scoring.
You like what you saw there on the offense for Manchester in the second quarter. Looked like starting to get the offense going there a little bit, and like that one drive unfortunately ended with the pick there. And Kalamazoo, on the other end, 2 easy drives on their first 2 series, but you see the Manchester defense starting to get some stops on Kalamazoo as well. So if they can keep that going in the second half, they can have a chance to get back in this ballgame.
The stat breakdown looks like this. Kalamazoo with 13 first downs as opposed to Manchester's 5. Both of these teams putting the ball on the ground multiple times. Kalamazoo with 15 attempts on the ground compared to 20 for Manchester. Manchester, though, trailing in the rushing yards category 42-36. As for receptions, 10-5 in favor of Kalamazoo for 161 yards compared to 19 respectively. That's a huge discrepancy.
Yeah, 200, it's on the receiving. Only 19 yards receiving in the first half there for Manchester. That's going to have to definitely improve in the second half.
1 interception thrown by Romero, the quarterback for Manchester. It was returned for 27 yards. No interceptions or fumbles lost by this Kalamazoo team so far. 3 penalties for Manchester, totaling 20 yards, 2 resulting in the same amount of distance for Kalamazoo. 5 punts, though, compared to 1 in favor of Kalamazoo. Manchester's had to boot the ball away again more times than they would have liked to so far.
And you're in the second half. They're going to be in that situation. We're going to see Kalamazoo get the ball to start the second half as well, so we'll see how that comes into play here as well.
Time of possession in favor of Manchester, 17 minutes and 2 seconds compared to 12:58 for Kalamazoo. 3 for 9 on third downs for Manchester compared to 0 and 2 for for Kalamazoo, and 0 for 1 on fourth down are the Hornets, and Manchester has not attempted a fourth down attempt yet so far today. That's the score at halftime, 20-0. Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. Will return here in a couple of minutes here on HCAC TV.
At first, me and my mom were struggling. I was trying to pay the bills and trying to take care of my mom at the same time. When I first heard that I can get paid for taking care of my mom, I was kind of skeptical because I had been doing it for so many years without pay. That's when I reached out to Passion to Care. I read all the reviews and I saw that they were #1 in the field. Passion to Care has really, really changed my life. Right now, I take care of my mom 24/7 thanks to Passion to Care.
Well, Keith sent me one Franklin.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Are you an active athlete looking for enhanced performance, comfort, and recovery? Then Skins is the perfect choice for you. Our revolutionary sports compression product provides better oxygen flow in your muscles, helps reduce fatigue and pain from intense physical activity, allowing athletes to push their boundaries and perform better.
Skins helps keep everything, including you, on track.
So don't wait any longer. Get your Skins now and experience unbeatable performance.
Take your game to the next level with Skins.
Welcome back to Spartan Stadium on HCAC TV, 20-0 Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. We just ran down the statistical comparisons between these two teams. There are a couple of conference games going on in the HCAC today. Calvin will be at Anderson. That kicked off at 1:30. There is no score update from that game yet. Tonight at 7 p.m., Tryon will travel to Bluffton to take on the Bluffton team out there. Olivier will travel to Hanover down in southwestern Indiana. Kalamazoo again on top of Manchester so far today. Albion will travel to Mount St. Joseph's. That game kicked off at 1 p.m. today. Mount St. Joseph's on top of Albion 28-0. Hope playing Rose-Hulman on our HCAC TV networks. Hope on top of Rose-Hulman 21-7. You can check out that game right now while we're at halftime. Also today at 1:30, Adrian taking on Franklin College. That's at Franklin. That one also on our HCAC TV networks. 14-0 Adrian on top of Franklin College after that 1:30 kickoff. Anderson University next week will take on Luther. That's also worth knowing as well. That is on the schedule. Let's shift our focus now to the second half, John. We still have a lot of time to cover until halftime is over, but let's go ahead and take a look at what both of these teams need to do in order to be successful in their book in the second half. We talked with Jamie Zorbo before the game. You're up 20-0, but again, this is a team that wants to compare themselves to themselves the day before and not to who their opponent is. And so far, 20-0 lead, but I'm sure there's going to be some stuff that he wants to work on.
He had to be very pleased after that first quarter. The second quarter, Manchester started to get some offense going there. So, yeah, Coach Zorbo is going to be discussing that with his team at the half. But overall, you're on the road up 20-0. I think for the most part, he's got to be pleased with what he's seen so far.
Yeah, and one thing that he has discussed with us was the fact that it always depends on what day it is, whether the offense shows up and the defense doesn't, or the defense shows up and the offense doesn't. Today, the offense has shown up. The defense has been, at least from a statistical standpoint on the scoreboard, very solid. But again, a couple of big drives put together by Manchester. They were able to get some takeaways, but in the overall grand scheme of things, I'm sure there's things he wants to clean up.
They were able to get those 2 turnovers, and that one where Manchester was driving, so he's going to be happy about that. But the way Manchester moved the ball in the second quarter, guarantee you Coach Zorbo's probably discussing that with his defensive coaching staff as well as his defensive players.
Something to look at. Josh Nichols took a hit in that second quarter. Again, he's the star quarterback and star punter for this Kalamazoo team. Took the hit, he went off the field, and we believe that he was on the field to take that last knee going into halftime. So it's a good sign if you're Kalamazoo. But again, you want to try to keep everybody healthy, especially when you have to play in a tough Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Conference later this year.
Most definitely, yeah. You don't non-conference play. You definitely do not want to see injuries, especially to your quarterback Nichols. But we'll see how it plays here in the second half if we see him back out here in the second half.
Nichols today in the first half went 9 for 13. That's a 70%, just a hair under 70% completion percentage for 135 yards. He was sacked only once in the first 30 minutes of gameplay. Scoopin, the backup, that's Dawson Scoopin, who was out there for one drive, went 1 for 1 passing. That was a 26-yard reception. He handed it off to Sheldon Riley, who was able to burst into the end zone from 2 yards out. Taking a look at some more individual statistics for Kalamazoo. How about Nate Clark in the day that he's had so far? 4 receptions for 59 yards, 2 touchdowns already. Those are his first 2 of the season.
Like Nate Clark getting in there, he hasn't had a whole lot of play so far this year, but getting in there and definitely making his presence known there with the 2 receiving touchdowns in the first half.
Lucas Hannafin, 1 reception for 32 yards. Johnston, the tight end, 84, made a reception for 26 yards. That was his only reception of the day. Durbin, 1 reception for 16 yards. Sheldon Riley with 1 reception for 13 yards. Thomas Shemwell with a reception for 8 yards. And Jonah Spades with 1 reception for 7 yards. As for rushing, Sheldon Riley, the running back, leading the way with 5 attempts for 18 yards, an average of 3.5 yards per carry. Thomas Shemwell, the backup, 4 carries for 14 yards. Josh Nichols, the quarterback, 3 carries for himself for 12 yards. And Scoopin went 2 rushes for 5 yards. No fumbles given up by this Kalamazoo team. Now looking towards Manchester, Andrew Romero getting the start today in place of their usual starting quarterback, who is Dante Cheney. He is not playing today, and so far he's looked pretty good. Again, very elusive when he's in the pocket when it is collapsing, but he hasn't shown a lot of promise, at least so far today, throwing the football.
Yeah, he's thrown those 2 interceptions, which is unfortunate for him, but, starting to see him start to get in his groove there a little bit as that second quarter went on, and hopefully he can keep that up in the second half and get Manchester driving it, if not some touchdowns there in the second half.
5 for 10 so far today, did throw the interception. His longest pass on the day is 12. He's been sacked twice. In terms of receiving, Doriel Moss Jr. with a reception for 12 yards. Abdullah Mir with a reception for 8 yards. Dawes with 2 receptions, totaling 2 yards. And also James Lewis catching a ball. That one was for a loss, though, of 3 yards. As for rushing, which has been a lot more successful than the receiving has been for Manchester, Wadlington. We finally figured out the name, and thank you to Chuck Levine and also our director, Greg Smith, for relaying this information to us. Albert Wadlington, who usually wears number 31 for Manchester, switched to jersey number 29 for today's game. He had a terrific first half. Unfortunately, we couldn't identify him on time. 6 attempts for 29 yards. That's 4.2 on the average. James Lewis also with 6 rushes for 20 yards. Hovey with an attempted rush for 1 yard. And Romero trying to take it himself 6 times. He has gained 4 yards in that category. Romero did fumble a snap earlier. They were able to recover it and keep on to the possession. That would have been the second turnover for Manchester. Again, halftime score, Kalamazoo 20, Manchester nothing. We'll take another quick step aside and return on the other side of this break on HCAC TV.
Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Back on HCAC TV, Manchester trailing Kalamazoo 20-0 at halftime. We're just about 8.5 minutes away from beginning the second half of play from Spartan Stadium. We'll take a look around the NCAA Division I landscape, though. I'm sure a lot of people will be following that throughout the day. We already have a final from yesterday and a ranked matchup in the Big Ten. Number 24 Illinois taking down number 22 Nebraska 31-24 at Memorial Stadium. Ohio State playing Marshall right now. The third-ranked Buckeyes up 28-14 as that game just began the third quarter of play. Clemson, number 21 Clemson, the Tigers on top of North Carolina State 45-7 in the third quarter. They're running away with that one. And Iowa State on top of Arkansas State, the 20th-ranked Cyclones, just began that game. 11-11 to go in the first quarter. The Cyclones with the football. Also, Indiana taking on the Charlotte 49ers down the road in Bloomington. That score 31-14 at the half. And how about the job that Curt Cignetti has done with this Indiana football team? Now, again, Charlotte's a team that is a little bit wishy-washy in terms of when they like to play well versus when they don't like to play well, but nonetheless, Indiana with the lead.
Charlotte's one of those teams that plays up to their competition or down to their competition, and getting Indiana giving it to them pretty good here in the first half. But there's another coach, I want to say, first of all, Coach Cignetti going to be 4-0 start here for Indiana. I don't think they've been this excited in Bloomington over the football program in years, I don't believe, here in Bloomington.
That is very true. That is very true. A lot of positive things to look at for Indiana football going forward. Purdue will be on the road tonight. They will be at Oregon State. That game slated for later on this evening. How about James Madison, by the way? Speaking of Curt Cignetti, on top of North Carolina, what was the score? 53-21 at halftime?
53 points in the half for James Madison over North Carolina.
53 first points in the half for James Madison. You know, they're doing quite well, I would say, without Curt Cignetti and staff still holding their own. A couple of other big matchups later on tonight. 15, Oklahoma, a new member of the SEC, will take on Tennessee from Stillwater. I believe it's Stillwater. Is that right? It's Norman. I'm thinking of Oklahoma State. Norman will be the host tonight as Oklahoma will host Tennessee. That's at 7:30 tonight. Missouri will take on Vanderbilt. Tigers ranked 7th in the nation, by the way. That game kicking off at 4:15. 8th-ranked Miami will take on South Florida. Utah traveling to Stillwater, Oklahoma to take on Oklahoma State. How about the Trojans of USC traveling to take on Michigan at the Big House later today as well? Notre Dame, for you Indiana folks, will be taking on Miami of Ohio from South Bend. And speaking of Notre Dame, 23rd-ranked Northern Illinois will be taking on Buffalo later today as well. There's a look around the country. There's, again, a swath of more games that we could cover. But, again, not everybody going to be paying attention to some of these games. So we'll put those on the back burner for now. Also, we should say, actually, Ball State playing Central Michigan right now. They trail that game 14-10. 5.5 minutes to go until the start of the third quarter from Spartan Stadium in Manchester. Kalamazoo with a 20-0 lead. We'll take one final break and return for the second half of play on HCAC TV.
The flow of the program, the opportunities of getting really hands-on is crucial for this profession.
We don't have classes during our clinicals, so we can be full-time at our clinicals, which is unique to Manchester.
And you have more say on where you go your second year based on your interests. I feel like I'm ready as I could possibly be to start my career with professional baseball. So that's where I'll be headed after graduation. Come to Manchester. It's a great program, it really is.
HCAC TV is brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, Passionate Care, Boilermaker Local 374, Wheeler Mission, Bertner Electric, the Morales Group, Northwestern Mutual, Indiana Laborers District Council, and the IndianaSRN Sports Page. 20-0 is the halftime score as Kalamazoo in front of Manchester on their home field. Let's talk a little bit more about Albert Wadlington. He changed his number from what he was on the roster. He was number 31 coming into this game. He switched to jersey number 29. We couldn't identify him for a majority of the first half, but he put up some absolutely terrific numbers, running for 6 carries and 29 yards, I believe was the tally. Yeah, 6 runs for 29 yards. In a log of 14, he's been absolutely terrific.
Coach Hunt has to like what he's seen out of Wadlington. He's the third-string running back so far this year, only getting 13 carries total in the 2 games before this. I'm anxious to see if Coach Hunt decides to go with him a lot more in the second half on the running game offensively for Manchester. He had a great first half.
And the running game has been what has been the bread and butter for this Manchester team so far. The receiving hasn't really been there. They've only caught 5 receptions for a total of less than 25 yards. I believe the total comes up to 19 yards receiving. And so the passing game obviously hasn't been the Spartans' strong suit so far, but the ground game has been where they made up a lot of room. 19 carries for over 50 yards.
And it's going to be very important when we see Kalamazoo get the ball here to start the second half. If Manchester can keep them at bay and force a punt here, I know you're down 20 points. You're going to have the running game into play, but in the second half with the score like it is, you figure the passing game is going to have to start getting some production out of Manchester.
And looking at the season averages so far for Manchester, this is a little bit uncharacteristic, at least from what the trends have shown. 217 yards a game passing for Manchester offensively compared to under 100 yards rushing on the season for Manchester. So just a little bit above of where they usually are at this point in the game for rushing, but their receiving is lagged way behind.
Yeah, definitely going to have to get some of those receptions in the second. I think you said they only completed 5 passes in that first half. That's something that's definitely going to have to change in the second half. You can credit a lot of that to the Kalamazoo defense. They have been very, very strong there in that first half.
Kalamazoo is a team that averages 27 points a game. They have nearly reached that mark in the first half of play. As for Manchester, they only average 15 points a game, but they still have yet to get on the board. And, John, they put together a couple of good offensive possessions Manchester has after getting off to a super slow start. But by the time they've been able to march down the field, a couple of costly mistakes, whether it be penalties, fumbles, or even an interception, have really done them in.
The interception on that drive is really what turned the tide there in that first half, because it looked like Manchester was headed for a scoring drive. They got that interception, and then you started to see them lose that momentum that they were starting to gain back to Kalamazoo there as Kalamazoo put that last touchdown on the board right after that.
HCAC TV is brought to you by Officially Human. Our mission is to restore respect to game officials and recognize them as authorities on the fields and courts. Do your part and practice good sportsmanship. If we don't have officials, we can't play. We're under a minute and a half to go until the kickoff of the second half. Kalamazoo again on top of Manchester 20-0 as we approach the beginning of the second half of play. Kalamazoo will get the football, and we'll see if Josh Nichols runs back out into the field. He did take a hit before the end of the first half. We think we saw him out there to take the knee going into halftime. And he has been terrific so far today for Kalamazoo, whether it's passing or handing the ball off.
Definitely, we're going to have to see how the situation is with Nichols there. But they went to a second quarterback there in that first half, and he had a pretty good series there in relief of Nichols on that. I believe it was the third series of the game.
Dawson Skupin was able to he's the backup. He was able to take Kalamazoo down the field and gave a handoff to Sheldon Riley, who was able to punch his way into the end zone. As for Josh Nichols, 9 for 13 today passing the ball. That's a 70% completion rate, 135 total yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. He's only been sacked 1 time. So a solid day for Nichols. As for Skupin, the backup, 1 for 1 in terms of passing, but did lead the Hornets to a touchdown, one of their 3 so far on the day. By the way, the reason why Kalamazoo sits at 20 points right now is because Emory Roberts missed the PAT on the first kick of the game after the first touchdown by Nate Clark. And so that's how we've reached our score of 20-0. Final seconds ticking away on the halftime clock as Manchester will kick the ball off to Kalamazoo. The Hornets will get the football to begin the second half. Manchester won the coin toss and elected to receive to begin the game. And so they will boot this one away to get us going for the final 30 minutes of play from Spartan Stadium.
Very, very important first drive of this third quarter. See if Manchester can get the stop. Because Kalamazoo, you have to get the feeling with a touchdown drive here is going to try to deliver the knockout punch early on here in this third quarter.
Well, it's a warm day here in northern Indiana. Temperature sitting comfortably in the 80s. Not a terrible amount of wind. Still in the vicinity, but not too dire. Not like what we saw last night come through with the amount of storms that hit central Indiana, causing a couple of high school football games to call their games early. And that is the exact opposite of what we're experiencing right now. Beautiful sunny skies, a couple of clouds out there for our second half of play. Beautiful day for college football across the country. Hornets set to receive. Kick is on its way from Aiden Beachy, and it goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
That is definitely not one you want if you're Manchester. Kick the ball out of bounds. You're going to have Kalamazoo the ball at the 35-yard line.
So great starting field position coming up for Kalamazoo on their first possession of the second half. They'll have, relatively speaking, a quasi-short field to work with for Josh Nichols and company. Kalamazoo taking a little bit of time to get everybody onto the field, but now here come the Hornets, and a good sign if you're a Hornets fan. Josh Nichols, number 8 in white, stepping back onto the field after taking a hit in the first half.
I would say we do see him out on the field here in the second half, so good to see there for Kalamazoo.
6'3" graduate student from Franklin, Tennessee, and a veteran quarterback who has accounted for over 6,500 yards and over 50 touchdowns in his career. Back out there on the field for Kalamazoo. Here's the snap, the handoff over the middle. Sheldon Riley trying to bully his way forward, but he gets wrapped up and taken down after a short gain.
Good defensive start there for Manchester, limiting Riley to only a 1-yard gain on first down.
Blake Hafley credited with the stop. 2nd down and 9. Trio of receivers to the far side. Now Riley in motion. Quick screen pass. Ball's caught. Trying to weave his way to the outside is Tyler Howell, but he is hounded and pushed back. And the energy from Manchester has not been something that's lacked when things have gone their way. It's when things have not gone their way when you start to see that body language sour up a little bit. And for an inexperienced team that doesn't have a lot of success, that's something that cannot happen. Nichols bullets a pass, and it's short. Manchester forces a 3-and-out against Kalamazoo to begin this second half.
Best possible scenario for Manchester, just what they needed, a 3-and-out, and less than a minute comes off the clock as well for Manchester. Great defensive stand to start the second half.
Well, that's something that'll get the energy back on your sideline if you're the Spartans, and if you're Kalamazoo, you're going to have to boot this ball away a little bit more prematurely than I think anybody was hoping or even expecting to, with the way that they've moved the ball up and down the field so far today. Punt forthcoming. From the 36, they get the kick away. Carson Moat on the kick. It's returned by Abdullah Mir out to the near sideline, out of bounds at the 37-yard line, and that's where Manchester will take over.
Well, Kalamazoo only takes a minute 3 off the clock, so Manchester gets a chance here, and I believe this is how that drive started in the second quarter. They got the 3-and-out and got the offense and was moving down the field before that drive-ending interception, so let's see if they can have that kind of momentum carry over once again this time.
Well, we'll see what the connection of Van Hunt and Zach Metclyer will get going for Manchester's offense. 1st and 10 from the 37. Manchester forcing a 3-and-out for Kalamazoo to begin the second half. Now their offense will try to reciprocate. Andrew Romero hands this one off to James Lewis, and he is stuffed at the line.
Kalamazoo has done a great job on Lewis in this game, really limiting him offensively in this one.
Adam Stapleton there to lay on the big hit on the running back Lewis. And it's a loss of 1. 2nd down and 11. Stapleton, former MIAA Defensive Player of the Week a season ago, back in October of 2023. Came into today with 135 career tackles and even has an interception to his name. Romero in the gun. He'll drop back. Quick pass out to the near sideline and off target. Lavarian Campbell out there awaiting the catch, but the pass wasn't even in his vicinity.
Yeah, the receiver ran the wrong route, or there was a misread by the quarterback there, but nonetheless, it's 3rd and 11 coming up here for Manchester.
Well, Kalamazoo had a 3-and-out to begin this second half. Manchester trying to avoid the same fate. They have to get to the 47. Pressure coming. Romero off his back foot. Nobody even looking towards the ball. He just had to get rid of it. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, the pressure coming, so had to do something with it. And unfortunately, an incomplete pass, and Manchester with a 3-and-out here.
So back-to-back 3-and-outs. First for Kalamazoo, and this time around for Manchester's offense. Angel Estrada waiting the snap. He's got quite the leg behind him. It's back, and once again, beautiful kick. Fielded at the 30. Not a lot of room to go for Jonas Spates. Pyle will push him forward to the 40-yard line. And that's where Kalamazoo will set up shop.
Good special teams coverage there for Manchester to limit the return there, but nonetheless, good starting field position for Kalamazoo here on their second drive of the third quarter.
So 12:51 remaining. They'll spot the ball at the 39-yard line. It'll be 61 yards to the goal line. Kalamazoo 3 and out on their first set of downs in the second half. Pass out to the far side. Flag fly. Sheldon Riley on the reception as he tried to turn the corner.
Flag back around where the quarterback threw that ball, so we'll see what we have here.
Holding. Offense. Number 75. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. The down remains 1.
So good sign for Manchester on the defensive side of things. And as for Kalamazoo, you were able to get some positive yardage there, but now instead you're looking at first down and 20.
A good pass there for 6 yards, but Kalamazoo pinned back on that penalty. Now back inside their own 30.
Now they'll have to go 71 yards to get into the end zone. Nichols on the run, throws a bullet of a pass, and it's caught. Lucas Hannafin out near the marker. He's going to be a hair short, but a great pass from Nichols to find him.
That was right past the defender and into the hands of Hannafin there. Great job there by Nichols. 18 yards.
Second down and 2. Kalamazoo trying to get across midfield. The handoff. Riley, first down, gets across midfield, then to Manchester territory. And a new set of downs coming up for the Hornets.
Riley, for the most part, has been held in check by this Manchester defense. Does able to pick up a first down there.
Kalamazoo scored on 3 of their first 4 possessions of this game. Their offense stagnated a little bit before halftime. Throw on the run. Pass was dropped. Intended target for Kalamazoo was number 6, Jackus James.
The defense was coming there for Nichols, so he may have forced him to throw that just a hair before he wanted to, and it threw off the timing a little bit.
Snap again. A little bit bobbly on the handoff. They do get it away. Sheldon Riley wrapped up and thrown backwards. And there on the stop for Manchester was Blake Hayfley once again.
But again, not much there for Riley once again, and now another important third down defensively for Manchester here.
Third and long. 40-yard line is the target. Nichols with pressure coming, gets the ball away, throws it over the middle, it's caught. Down to the 20, inside the 20, down to the 15 on the catch, Jackus James.
Well, I believe the 7th different receiver now, and that's a 30-yard pickup on a third down and 9 for Kalamazoo, and a first down in the red zone again.
And that's a big gut punch for the Manchester defense as well. Kalamazoo inside the red zone. They have scored every single appearance in the red zone so far this year. Another catch on the far side, down inside the 10, down towards the 6. Jackus James again.
11 more for James, making his presence known on this drive here. And it's a first and goal for Kalamazoo.
At the 7-yard line. First and goal for Kalamazoo. The handoff. Riley bullying his way up the middle. Doesn't get too far. Might have gotten a yard, maybe 2 at best.
That ball came loose, I believe.
They say the ball came out. Manchester has the football. Manchester forces a fumble inside the red zone. The Spartans recover it. And the Gold and Black have the football.
Well, Kalamazoo kept off the board right there. Manchester forcing the fumble. Only problem, you have to start your own 5-yard line, but you kept Kalamazoo off the board there.
And that is the first time this season that Kalamazoo has failed to put points on the board inside the red zone. Every single time they made an appearance so far today, they've done it. Coming into the game, they were 6 of 6 when scoring inside the red zone. And that is their first turnover inside of 20 yards.
That also for Kalamazoo is their first turnover all season.
And that's something you talked about, John. Turnovers are going to be huge in this game. That might be a momentum swing. Manchester with the football, the handoff. Lewis bullying his way forward, gets about a yard before he's taken down.
Not much there for Lewis, just get what he could, but the Kalamazoo defense right there, holding him to a minimal 1-yard gain on first down.
No gain on the play, brings up second down and 10.
Manchester in a bit of a pinch. They do get the takeaway. They keep Kalamazoo off the board. But their passing game has been relatively weak so far today. Their ground game has been their strongest asset. And that's something that could be a really easy read for this Kalamazoo defense.
Kalamazoo defense so far in the second half here is playing that run game.
Once again, Lewis up the middle. This time he chugs forward for about 4 yards or so. That'll bring up 3rd down and 6, potentially 7.
You're going to have to see Manchester start throwing into the passing game here. You're down to 9 minutes here in the third quarter. You're going to have to see that passing game start to take effect here.
Andrew Romero has already thrown 1 interception so far today. And a pickoff right here could spell huge trouble for this Manchester team who's trying to figure out a way to get themselves back into this game. Manchester taking their dear sweet time in order to try to get themselves the best opportunity to move the sticks. 3rd and 7. Whistle blows. What's the call? Flags on the field. Delay of game.
That's the second time Manchester's been guilty of a delay of game in this game.
And that one is extremely costly. You're now looking at 3rd down and 12, and you're pinned up next to your own goal line.
You know, at your 3-yard line, I believe. Yeah, this is, tough sledding here for Manchester.
And, John, in this situation, do you try to put the ball on the ground and just try to give space for Angel Estrada to kick the ball, or do you try to pass it?
I think you're going to have to go to the pass here. They're going to run it.
And they fumble the football. Ball's loose down near the goal line. Kalamazoo says they have it. And they do. Nolan Janinga hopping on that loose ball, and Manchester turns the ball over inside their own 5. Kalamazoo knocking on the door of the end zone.
I'm going to look at it right here. Just it looks like a miscommunication or a mishandle on the handoff there, and Kalamazoo right there, and they are inside the 5. Ample scoring chance.
Well, Kalamazoo fumbles it inside the red zone. Manchester fumbles it inside their own 5-yard line. Kalamazoo 3 yards deep. Nichols drops back to pass. He's got pressure coming. He gets wrapped up. He loses his helmet. And he falls to the ground. Now we get to take a look at the best mustache in Division III football.
I think you're going to have a face mask here. Nichols' helmet came off.
The officials talking it over. This wouldn't do a whole lot, considering how close Kalamazoo is to the goal line.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 39, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
So that's about a 1.5 yard face mask penalty.
Xander Swihart, the guilty party. So now the 1.5 yard line will be where Kalamazoo will get the football. Can Manchester make a stand? They'll have 4 opportunities to try to keep Kalamazoo out of the end zone. Fake handoff, hit from behind. And they call it an incomplete pass. Nichols got the pass away, no fumble. Not on the pressure. Jalen Grimes once again getting in there to force the pass.
There's a Manchester defender right in there that had a chance for a pick right there, but just couldn't quite get to the ball there. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 2.
7:54 remaining here in the third quarter. Kalamazoo just fumbled it inside their own red zone and then was able to recover a fumble on the way back. Going to the corner of the end zone, in for the touchdown is Sheldon Riley. And it took a little while for Kalamazoo to get on the board. Their defense had to come on. They got the football back, and now they put their fourth touchdown up.
Kalamazoo only a 7-yard field to work with there, and they finish it off with a touchdown and add to their lead here, 26-0.
Second touchdown of the day for Sheldon Riley. He ties for the game lead with Nate Clark, their tight end, who has 2 receiving touchdowns to begin this game. And now Emery Roberts, who is 2 for 3 on PAT so far today, will try to make it 3 of 4. The snap, the kick, and the sign, all good. 27-0 with 7:49 to go in the third quarter. Kalamazoo strikes once again. They're on top of Manchester 27-0. We'll return here in just a couple of minutes on HCAC TV.
At Manchester University, we're excited to be offering a unique pathway to become a registered dietitian. We are one of the only nutrigenomics programs in the United States, looking at how a person's genes are affected by the nutrition. This allows us to be much more precise and personalize our recommendations for our patients in the future. Our program is a traditional 2-year graduate program, and this program does include your coursework, which is all online, and also your supervised experiential learning done in your home.
HCAC TV is brought to you by the IndianaSRN Sports page. Wall-to-wall sports news every day. High school, college, pro sports. We have it all. Check it out at IndianaSRN.org and click on the sports page tab. Stay informed with the IndianaSRN Sports page. 27-0 Kalamazoo on top of Manchester as Sheldon Riley able to strike from 1.5 yards out after Kalamazoo fumbled the ball inside their own 10. And then Manchester reciprocated by fumbling it inside their own 5-yard line right next to the goal line. Kalamazoo was able to recover and score for their 4th time today.
And when you only give Kalamazoo a 3-yard field, and it's just a matter of them putting it in, and Manchester, this is going to go out of bounds, I believe.
Low kick out of bounds at the 20. That'll move it out to the 35 for Manchester, whose offense has had some bright spots so far today, but they haven't been able to put a single point up on the board. Whether it's due to an interception or a couple of penalties or whatever the case may be, the Spartans in desperate need of a score.
There's that last touchdown here. You see Riley on the right-hand side get loose, get past that tackler, and into the end zone from 1.5 yards out.
It looks like we might re-kick this one. That's going to be the case. They're going to re-kick it. So Manchester elects to have Kalamazoo re-kick the football. They would have had it at the 35 along with the penalty. Instead, Kalamazoo is going to scoot back an extra 5 yards and boot this away from the 30.
Manchester playing the field position game, thinking they can get a little better field position by making Kalamazoo re-kick this.
Well, Emery Roberts will try this one again, this time 5 yards deeper than normal. And Manchester going to try to see if they can get some kind of return maybe on this one. James Lewis back to receive it. Manchester in desperate need of a score. Kick on its way. And take it. Abdullah Mir on the return. Running it out to the far side. He's in trouble, and he is taken down just outside of his own 10-yard line by Vinny Fodale.
Well, the decision to re-kick backfires here. Do we have another flag?
We do. More laundry on the field. And we'll see what this verdict is.
During the return, holding, return team, number 11. Half a distance to the goal. Manchester keeps the ball. First down.
Justin Abayagam on the penalty.
So now instead of the 35, you're going to be inside your 10-yard line to start this drive.
So Manchester elects to have Kalamazoo re-kick it. They would have had the ball at the 40-yard line. Instead, now they have it down near their own 10-yard line. And you try to roll the dice. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and that's just another scenario where you end up losing.
Yeah, it didn't work out in their favor that time. They have a long way to go.
Ball is at the 6-yard line. That is just about the area where the last Manchester drive started after the fumble recovery that they had before Manchester ultimately fumbled it and gave it right back to Kalamazoo, and the Hornets made them pay. The handoff for Lewis up the middle, a couple of positive yards. Able to get about 3 or 4 right there. It wasn't Lewis, pardon me. It was Cameron Hovey, who wears number 25 in gold for Manchester, getting his first carry of the day.
Yeah, first time we've called his name today. Manageable gain there on first down. Sticking with that running game, though, Manchester, they feel comfortable with it.
Well, it's been nearly the only thing that has worked for them so far today as well, and that's not very characteristic of this Manchester team, at least so far this young season. 2nd and 6. They'll hand it off again. Off a couple of tackles, Hovey can't get very far. May have gotten an extra yard. That'll bring up 3rd down.
You're going to be looking about a 3rd and 5 situation here for Manchester. Nearly needing a first down. Kalamazoo wanting to force a punt from probably their own end zone if they don't get another yard here.
Well, Manchester is definitely not a team that seems to have any amount of urgency to get back to the line at this point. Again, both of these teams just trying to tune themselves up for conference play, which is upcoming. For Manchester in the HCAC, and Kalamazoo and the MIAA. Under 6.5 to go. Romero, pressure coming. Shifts his way throughout the pocket. Throws upfield, and we'll see what the call is.
Saying incomplete.
They said incomplete. Incomplete pass, the intended receiver, Tyreek Dawes. The ball hit the ground before he could control it. That'll bring up 4th down and 5.
Great effort there by Dawes trying to go low and get it, but the ball just by inches hits the ground, and it's an incomplete pass.
So Angel Estrada, who I'm sure enjoys seeing time on the field, although I'm not sure the team is very happy to see him out there, will be back out there to kick with his feet firmly planted in his own end zone. Kalamazoo has almost gotten a couple of blocks off of these kicks. Flag flies.
I think we're going to have some movement here.
And that further compounds the problem. And that further compounds the problem for Manchester. That only gives less room for Angel Estrada to work with. And that's also a couple of free yards that Kalamazoo will be able to gain.
Estrada looking back there, not wanting to step out of the back of the end zone. He wants to make sure he keeps his feet in bounds there.
Estrada gets this one away relatively comfortably. Nice kick on the run. Spades had to come back and get it. Breaks a couple of tackles before he's finally swarmed by a horde of Spartans and is finally taken down with 6:01 to go.
About the best possible outcome you could ask for your Manchester, getting a great kick out of that.
So it'll be roughly the 46-yard line while Kalamazoo will take over as the Hornets will try to add on to their lead. HCAC TV is brought to you by the Indiana Laborers District Council, the 12,000 Hoosier men and women with Laborers District Council and affiliated local unions that build Indiana. We are LeUna. 27-0 in the third quarter, 6:01 to go from Spartan Stadium. Kalamazoo has been in control of this game from the beginning all the way to where we find ourselves at now. Nichols slots a pass over to the far side. It's caught by Hannafan. Out of bounds. Clock will continue to run. Gain of 3.
I believe that's Hannafan's first reception. We've seen him get a few rushing yards this game, but I believe that's his first reception of this game.
Gain of 3 on the play, 2nd down, 7 for the Hornets.
2nd and 7. 3 receivers slotted out to the right. Nichols steps forward, bounces off a block, it slips and falls. Was able to get a little bit of positive yardage, but not a lot.
It's actually Scrupin back in at quarterback, and he got bit by the turf monster right there, or else that was probably going to be a first down.
Second appearance from Scupin so far today. In his lone drive so far, he was able to lead Kalamazoo down to one of their 4 touchdowns on the day. He handed it off to Sheldon Riley, who gained his first of 2 touchdowns on that drive. Scooping over the middle. That one's caught. Nice tackle in the open field. The ball caught by Nate Clark, who himself has 2 touchdowns on the day as well.
I like what I've seen out of Scoopin in relief here for Kalamazoo, leading for a first down.
Well, Josh Nichols is in his final year of eligibility with Kalamazoo. Dawson Scoopin still has at least a year under his belt. He'll be a good man to replace him. He's trying to prove that right here. Long pass just out of the hands of Jonah Spates and out of bounds.
A great arm right there by Scoopin. Just overshot his receiver there just a hair. An incomplete pass.
Now that probably would have been the door-shutting moment for Kalamazoo for good. But Spates was just a half a stride behind that one. So now bring up second down and 10 from the 27-yard line. And Scoopin, the 6'4 junior from South Lyon, Michigan, trying to make his case for a potential starter spot potentially next year. Quick pressure, throws it out to Shumwell. Forward for a couple of yards, might have gotten about 5 right there. It'll bring up third down and manageable.
See third down here for Kalamazoo, up 27-0. You figure this might be 4-down territory if they don't convert here on third down.
3rd and 6 will be the official down and distance. Kalamazoo approaching the red zone. They have only not scored 1 time when they've made an appearance in the red zone, and that was on their last possession. Throw over the middle, caught, Spates. What a juke. He cuts over the middle, down towards the goal line. He reaches, he lost the football. It's loose. Diving on it is Shemwell. Will they mark him short? And that's exactly what they'll do. They mark him short of the goal line by a yard. Spates putting the moves on and nearly made a highlight reel out of that one.
They're going to say his knee hit at the 1-yard line as he was trying to reach the ball out.
So 1st and goal from the 1 after Jonah Spates tried to put himself on SportsCenter. Scoop in the snap. He'll keep it himself. He has a wide open lane and gets into the corner of the end zone for a Hornets touchdown.
Scoopin saw he had the left side open there and took it himself and finished it off. And Kalamazoo's 5th touchdown of this game.
And the first career touchdown, the first touchdown of the season for Dawson Scoopin. That's his 5th of his career. And Kalamazoo might have just put Manchester away. New kicker out on the field for Kalamazoo. James Kulikowski's is who it appears to be. Kicks on its way. And not too bad looking for the first kick of the day for James Kulikowski's. And not too bad of a look for Dawson Scoopin to get his first touchdown of the season as Kalamazoo takes a 34-0 advantage over Manchester here on HCAC TV.
I like making people feel better on their worst days, so I like to make that difference.
Going to a small school makes it a lot easier to get in touch with your faculty members. I feel like they care about my well-being as well as my education. They've said many times they want me to be a good person and a good nurse.
We have great technology. Everything you need to enhance your skills as a nurse, we have here at Manchester.
I feel like it's a really good program. I would definitely recommend it to other people.
HCAC TV is brought to you by Make a Difference. Help us put more student athletes on TV by logging on to IndianaSRN.org and directing your donation to a specific school or hit the donate button. More games, more opportunities for our kids. IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat. Back on HCAC TV, Kalamazoo just put Manchester away, at least presumably, with their 5th touchdown of the day and the first of the season for the backup quarterback, Dawson Scoopin, who rushed in from only a yard out. Kicks on the way. Manchester looking to field this one. And a fair catch is going to be called by James Lewis at the 5. Take another look at that touchdown run from Scoopin.
You see Scoopin there on the left side. See there's nobody over there, and easy sailing into the end zone for Scoopin for Kalamazoo. We have to think Coach Zorbo likes what he sees there with Nichols getting banged up. Nice to see for him scooping, coming right in there and taking right over that offense for Kalamazoo.
And, John, you would know as well as anybody that depth is always huge, especially when it comes to the game of football. Because of the amount of injuries that can pile up relatively quickly, you need to have good backups at every position just in case you are up thin.
Especially going into conference play. Good to see that you can have a nice little backup there on the offense as well.
Romero, the handoff. Lewis threw a couple of waves of defenders. Pardon me, that wasn't Lewis. Once again, guess who? Albert Wadlington, who switched his jersey coming into today's game. Usually wears number 31 for some unknown reason, but nonetheless, he's wearing number 29 and has made a big impact on this Manchester offense, even though the scoreboard doesn't show it.
With the first half he had, I was wondering if we were going to see a lot more of him here in the second half, and we're getting the first look at him in a 15-yard gain on first down.
Romero dropping back. Head on a swivel. And he's not able to get out of the pocket. He's taken down for a loss.
Another sack there for the Kalamazoo defense. Loss of 5. Nothing he could do right there, Romero, at all.
Brennan Panucci in there along with Jacob Hazelwood for the stop. Pardon me, Nolan Janinga once again, number 96 in there on the stop. 2:47 to go in the third quarter. Kalamazoo in control of this one. Manchester trying to get some quality reps in to prepare themselves for HCAC play coming up. Romero, long pass up the field, and it's brought in. Lavarian Campbell on the near sideline. And that's something that Manchester has struggled with all day today, the passing game. And that was the best look they've had downfield.
By far the best pass of the day for Manchester. Great job there by Romero to find his receiver, and for the second time they're into Kalamazoo territory as we look at it here. Romero with that strike to his receiver down the left sideline.
Campbell last week went 2 receptions for 50 yards. His long was 38. He got a good chunkage of yardage right there. Romero, the handoff, going to the far side, and he is taken down in the backfield. A huge hit for Kalamazoo. Tyreek Dawes on the handoff.
And Dawes getting the handoff there, losing his footing there a little bit, getting back to the line of scrimmage.
And he's definitely shaken up, that's for sure, limping as he comes off the field. Might have just taken a big hit and needs to walk it off. So the officials will take a timeout as Dawes tries to recalibrate himself with a minute 51 to go here in the third quarter. We will take a quick step aside here on HCAC TV. Kalamazoo in front, 34-0.
I like making people feel better on their worst days, so I like to make that difference.
Going to a small school makes it a lot easier to get in touch with your faculty members. I feel like they care about my well-being as well as my education. They've said many times they want me to be a good person and a good nurse.
We have great technology. Everything you need to enhance your skills as a nurse, we have here at Manchester.
I feel like it's a really good program. I would definitely recommend it to other people.
Back on HCAC TV, on the run for the first time today, Andrew Romero. I shouldn't say for the first time. He's done that a couple of times to try to make his way out towards the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I saw him get across the 45 to the 43-yard line there. Set up third and manageable here for Manchester. And in a 34-0 game, this is definitely 4-down territory at this point.
Buck 10 to go until the end of the third quarter. Manchester on the year 0-2, Kalamazoo 2-0. Spartans were trying to find their first win of the season, but things looking bleak. It would take the comeback of a century, you'd have to think, for the Spartans to win this game. Throw is incomplete, right through the hands of Lavarian Campbell, who just made a terrific reception on the near sideline, but he wasn't able to draw that one in.
That was right too, Campbell. It looked like he might have lost his footing there as well, which led to the incomplete pass. And fourth down, there's no question you're going to see the offense stay out here.
That's what's going to happen. Clock stops 48.8 seconds to go on the incomplete pass. There's a good look at Andrew Romero, the freshman, getting the start over Dante Cheney, who is out of today's ball game. Again, Romero had a terrific week last week in the fourth quarter, nearly led Manchester to a comeback win over Concordia, but fell just short. He's had a lot of trouble today. Flag flies. He'll launch it downfield. And incomplete on the coverage. Brandon Speed, as Romero took a big hit as he was able to get that pass away.
Yeah, I think you're going to see an offensive hold here. Clearly going to be declined by Kalamazoo.
The officials discussing it.
Holding. Offense, number 58. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down, Kalamazoo.
Connor Hindman being called for the hold. So Manchester turns it over on downs. And this possession for Kalamazoo will begin at their own 43-yard line. They'll have to march 57 yards to get across the goal line.
I think you're going to see a big dose of running here for Kalamazoo. Going to be very comfortable and very patient and work on the clock now from here on out.
41 6/10 of a second remaining. Kalamazoo in control of this one. Back out on the field, Josh Nichols, after Dawson Skupin was able to run it in for a touchdown on the last possession. And that's something we might see a little bit of back and forth. And excuse me, no, it's Dawson Skupin out there again. A little bit hard to see with the white jerseys and the red numbers. They'll hand it off. And running out to the near sideline, the running back, Kyler Majorana, seeing his first run of the day.
Looks like Coach Zorbo is going to go to a little bit of his second stringers here, get them a little bit of action here.
Man in motion. Skupin drops back, throws it out to the near side. It's caught by Spates, and he is eaten up inside the 40-yard line. Dave Paul getting back there.
Saw a flag go down. I wonder if you're going to have a little bit of a celebration here on the Manchester sideline.
Well, if there's one thing that Manchester doesn't lack when things are going well, it's energy, and that's for sure. But it might come back to bite them right here.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Manchester's head coach, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, the Manchester fans certainly loving that. Van Hunt, the second-year head coach, picking up the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Before we go to break here, I want to say you don't like to see penalties, but that's a 15-yard penalty you maybe don't mind seeing, the energy that you're bringing.
We'll be right back here on HCAC TV at the end of the third quarter. HCAC TV is brought to you by Family Source Insurance. Pat Cherry is your independent agent representing Ohio Mutual Insurance. Call him today for coverage tomorrow. 317-894-7000. 34-0 as we return to Spartan Stadium in Manchester. Cruz Martin alongside John Lester. 34-0, obviously Kalamazoo in front. You just had one of the more rare penalties that you see. Van Hunt, the head coach for Manchester, taking a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct after a big tackle in the backfield.
He was very enthused on that tackle. You saw him come off the sideline there, and when the flag flew, I had a feeling they were going to get that. But as I said, there's obviously no such thing as a good 15-yard penalty, but you still like to see that. 34-0, you still like to see the enthusiasm.
Well, if you turn your attention to the bottom of your screen, you can see the line judge having a conversation with Van Hunt. It was very animated before we put that graphic up, and you might still be able to see him down there. The handoff, Kalamazoo still with the football. Nice tackle once again by Manchester. Once again, Majorana on the carry. And on the stop, Javion Davis.
Minimal gain there, but you see the Manchester defense getting a little bit behind them here.
Majorana again gets absolutely nowhere. Eaten up by a horde of Spartan defenders. That'll bring up 3rd down and 6.
You have a 3rd down here for Manchester. Kalamazoo kind of was a little bit surprised to see them snap the ball that quick, see them go to a hurry up here with a 34-0 lead in the 4th quarter.
3rd down and 6. Dawson Skupin, the backup quarterback out there still for Kalamazoo. He'll keep it himself. Up the middle. He's able to get the first down, I believe, as he gets across the 35, down to the 33.
He's right at the stick. Yeah, we're going to move the chains. First down.
So Skupin keeps the drive alive for Kalamazoo. Oh, it's safe to say that with the group of players that's on the field for the Hornets, they probably would have went for it anyway. Here's pressure coming from behind. Skupin escapes the pocket, throws on the run, downfield, almost brought in. They couldn't make the catch. The intended target, Devin Yankee. He could not catch it.
I thought I was going to see Skupin run that because he had some room there on the right side and almost waited too long to throw that. It was almost past the line of scrimmage. It was right on the hand. The receiver just couldn't come down with it.
Got to bring up second down and 10. And a golden opportunity for the Hornets' second unit to put a touchdown on the board. They couldn't do so. Skupin again out to the right. Skupin again downfield, and Skupin again over the head of his intended target this time around. It was Josh Anderson.
Boy, again, just right and just out of the reach of Anderson there. Two great looks there by Skupin, just unable to complete them there.
Clock stops again with the incompleted pass. Third down and 10 upcoming. Scooping up to the line. Now I'll take a step back. Target line is the 24. He's got a trio of receivers out to his right. Pressure coming. He'll roll out to the right. Throws on the run, downfield, and out of reach once again of Devin Yankee.
3 straight incompletions here for Skupin. Now with fourth down here. The game with where it is, Kalamazoo is probably just going to see them leave their offense out here.
Flag is on the field. And it looks like this might move Kalamazoo back.
See if Manchester is going to decline this to bring up fourth down. Manchester will take the penalty here.
Andrew Munger and Aiden Durst both being called for the illegal chop block. Like you said, John, now just beyond, or I should say just inside of midfield. The majority of the players in this offensive set beyond midfield in some form or fashion. 3rd and 25. Skupin trying to get a jump. Now he'll look downfield. Screen pass over to the near sideline. It's caught. Hayden Johnston on the reception. Gets through a gap and gets down inside the 25-yard line. And it's going to be close. I think he got it.
He got there, yeah. Johnston with the second effort there. How about that screen pass to Johnston? 3rd and 25, picking up 27 and keeping the chains moving for Kalamazoo.
Great play call by the Hornets offense. Kalamazoo's second unit trying to march down the field. They got a big chunk of yardage right there to make up for the penalty. And a new set of downs as well. The handoff. Majorana hopping over a couple of tackles before he's taken down just shy of the 15.
Good job there. Nice little 7-yard pickup there on first down. And inside the red zone once again for Kalamazoo here.
Approaching the 12.5-minute mark. Kalamazoo just 2 plays ago was at their own 49. The handoff. Majorana breaks a couple of tackles, cuts his way back, gets tripped up. Now just shy of the 10.
Another flag here.
This is in the backfield as well. This will probably bring Kalamazoo back again.
That's going to be something that Coach Zorbo is not going to be happy with. Kalamazoo getting a little sloppy here on the penalties here in the fourth quarter. Now 6 penalties in the game.
Cody Wrigley, the guilty party. That'll bring up second down and 14. Ball moved back to the 27. Approaching the 12-minute mark from Spartan Stadium in Manchester. It's been all Hornets so far today. Scoop it, steps up, will run it himself. Trying to turn the corner and gets out of bounds near the 10-yard line. And a nice run for Dawson Scoop in the backup.
Now another flag.
There was a big block just a couple feet away from where Scoopin ran out of bounds. And Kalamazoo backing up again. We'll see what the official call is real quick. It seems as though Manchester walking forward.
During the run, personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense, number 81, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's still second.
I believe that is now the 4th penalty on this drive for Kalamazoo.
Devin Yankee, the wideout, who tried to give Scoopin an extra block, ends up adding extra yards to Kalamazoo's now second down attempt.
70 yards in penalties now against Kalamazoo.
That brings up second down and 12 for the Hornets. And that's part of ironing out this second unit. Throw over the middle, batted up and not picked off. Right there to try to take it away from Manchester. Appeared to be number 3, Yandel Victoriano. But he wasn't able to dive forward to catch it.
Yeah, just a little out of his reach there, so now a third down opportunity for Kalamazoo.
3rd and 12. Scoopin rolls out, throws it upfield. It's caught for a first down. As James Kulikowski's, who spends part of his time as a kicker, and actually knocked in a PAT a couple of moments ago, was able to make the reception.
Once again, Kalamazoo a third down conversion here, and now a 1st and goal.
Scooping the handoff. Majorana goes left before going up the middle. Pardon me. That was actually Brady Swift. Brady Swift on the carry, seeing his first action of the day.
There's now 7 ball carriers that Kalamazoo has used in this game.
2nd and goal from the 6. Scooping with Swift to his left. He'll hand it off. Swift trying to barrel his way forward. It might not have even gotten a yard. Maybe just one.
A good stop there by the Manchester defense. Setting up a third down here once again.
Approaching the 10.5-minute mark. In the final quarter of play from Spartan Stadium, Kalamazoo on top of Manchester 34-0. 3rd and goal from the 5. Swift the back. Standing right next to Dawson Scoopin. Scoopin will drop back to pass. Throws it to the back corner of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown Kalamazoo. Hayden Johnston on the reception.
Johnston, you saw get that big reception on 3rd and 25 earlier on the drive, and now we'll finish it off with a touchdown reception here, and 6 more for Kalamazoo.
40-0 Kalamazoo on top of Manchester. And Jamie Zorbo's second unit able to put a touchdown on the board. In to kick now, Isaac On, number 99, getting his first PAT attempt of the day. And he puts a strike into that one. And the first kick of the day for Isaac On goes on through. 10:13 to go in the 4th. Kalamazoo 41, Manchester nothing here on HCAC TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Every person has a story waiting to be told. Mr. Jack comes in every Monday.
Yeah, that's right.
One day I noticed his hat said he was a Korean War veteran. I asked him if he'd ever been to the Korean War Memorial.
No, I never had a chance to go.
That was the day I knew we had to do whatever it took to get him there.
Manny made it happen. I got to go to Washington, D.C. to all the memorials. The World War II Memorial, Naval Memorial, Korean War Memorial. Took all kind of pictures and everything, and it was a good trip, too.
I'm glad that I could be a part of Mr. Jack's story.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more.
HCAC TV is brought to you by Aspen Creek Grill. Why go anywhere else for delicious food? If you're looking for an amazing fresh food and servers that genuinely care about service, you've got to try Aspen Creek Grill. If you're looking for amazing fresh food and servers that genuinely care about service, you won't be disappointed. Take another look at that touchdown reception for Hayden Johnston off the fingertips, I should say, of Dawson Scoopin.
There you see Scoopin finding back in the end zone there, and the 6th touchdown of the game for Kalamazoo. They've been in control from the opening kick.
10:13 to go in the 4th. Manchester will take over from the 20. And it's been a bit of a rough day so far. I should say the 25-yard line is where they'll take over from. It's been a tough day for Manchester. They've shown some positive signs, especially on the offensive side of the football, at least in spurts. But every time they put together a solid possession, something comes back to haunt them, whether it's penalties or turnovers.
Unforced error, turnover, and the Kalamazoo defense has just been phenomenal in this game as well.
Andrew Romero still back there, and he gets taken down in the backfield. A huge loss of about 13, maybe even 14 yards on the sack.
And we see the Kalamazoo defense still bringing it despite the score there, getting down Romero there for the sack.
They'll mark him down at the 14, so not nearly as dire as you would think, but still a bad loss of about 10 or 11 yards. They'll make it 11. It's 2nd down and 21. Manchester looking over towards head coach Van Hunt. In his 2nd year with the program, inherited a 1-win program. Led Manchester to 1 win this past season. Had a chance at their first win a week ago, but fell 1 point short in a comeback effort. And another big stop as Lewis tried to run it over the middle.
How much doing there for Lewis, and now a 3rd down. And with 9 minutes left in this game with the score, Kalamazoo's wanting to preserve this shutout. So it looks like their defense has got a little fire as well. You're starting to see some emotion on that side now.
3rd and 21 upcoming. Van Hunt spent 7 years at Allegheny College as a recruiting coordinator. Also spent time there as a special teams coordinator as well. And was a co-offensive coordinator there for a while, as well as a defensive coordinator, and was a 2-time interim head coach. So he's seen just about every aspect of coaching that you can in the game of football. Romero still on his feet. Tries to get rid of it and finally does. And it falls incomplete as Romero took a big hit as he went down.
Romero slow getting up here. He's been taking a beating here in the second half with this Kalamazoo defense, and it's going to force another punt.
He preserves the very little yardage that Manchester was trying to hold on to. And the punting unit will come back out onto the field. Angel Estrada getting his fair share of opportunities here today.
Manchester will have a week off before HCAC play gets underway. They will face Defiance on October 5th. They'll have a bye week to regroup here before conference play starts.
The snap, Estrada gets that one away. Another beautiful punt beyond midfield. Ball taken at the 45-yard line. Back the other way comes Kalamazoo. Lucas Hannafan gets through every single wave of defenders and runs it into the end zone for a touchdown, no flags.
Boy, he was untouched as well, getting to the end zone on that punt run back there and adding to it for Kalamazoo here.
65 yards untouched for Lucas Hannafan. And Kalamazoo doesn't even need to get their offense back onto the field to put more points up on the board.
Well, he saw the seam over the middle and took advantage, and it was off to the races from that point.
Isaac on back out to kick. Correction, Eddie Langdon. The 4th kicker we've seen today from a PAT perspective. He puts it up and puts it through. And Kalamazoo now up 48-0 over Manchester with 8:22 to go here in the 4th. We'll take a quick step aside and return on the other side of this break on HCAC TV.
At first, me and my mom were struggling. I was trying to pay the bills and trying to take care of my mom at the same time. When I first heard that I can get paid for taking care of my mom, I was kind of skeptical because I had been doing it for so many years without pay. That's when I reached out to Passion to Care. I read all the reviews and I saw that they were #1 in the field. Passion to Care has really, really changed my life. Right now, I take care of my mom 24/7 thanks to Passion to Care.
HCAC TV is brought to you by Clean Slate. Find your future in the cloud. We're a technology consulting firm specializing in custom-built, modern applications and products that deliver greater agility, faster speed, innovation, and the resiliency to handle whatever the future throws your way. Call us at 866-885-3249. Kalamazoo, after a 55-yard punt return for a touchdown by Lucas Hannafin, will kick this one off. Eddie Langdon boots this one inside the 5. It's bobbled. And the officials will blow this one dead. It's going to be a touchback. As back to receive it was Gabe Hernandez. His foot went over the line.
I'm saying
no, they did.
Yeah, they're saying his knee, I believe, hit at the 2-yard line.
They spotted the ball at the 2-yard line. We'll take a look at the Lucas Hannafin return right here. Again, Estrada with a great boot, but Lucas Hannafin with a great burst.
Yeah, you see him get past that first tackler there, and there was that seam over the middle, and there was no stopping him after that point, untouched into the end zone. Punter tried to get an angle there for a last-second tackle, but to no avail.
Well, this might be the last place that you want to end up if you're Manchester after giving up that 55-yard punt return for a touchdown. At your own 2-yard line, pinned up against your own goal line. Romero, the handoff, and he's taken down. Will they call it a safety? Yes, I think he's holding up the 2. No, they're calling second down.
They saying he just got the ball across.
Oh, man. That would have been...
Can't get much closer, though.
That was very close. There's no doubt about it. It was Albert Wadlington on the carry. The loss of 1 yard.
If I'm Romero, well, he's in the shotgun. I was going to say, I'm Romero. I maybe just try to get what you can, but he's going to be in the gun here.
Romero drops back to pass. Quick pass over the middle, and it's dropped. It was intended for Lavarian Campbell, who had the ball in his mitts, and it just slipped away.
I know Campbell had a couple defenders around him right there, but that's a catch you have to make right there.
3rd down and 11 from their own 1. Manchester just trying to give them some breathing room if they have to bring out Angel Estrada again. Because at this point, his heels would be against the back of the end zone. To the left side, Wadlington finally gets a positive yardage but lost the football. Kalamazoo might have it, and they do. On the recovery, Lance Wolford hopped on that one. It's the second fumble inside their own 10-yard line, and Manchester coughs it up again.
We're going to look at it here. The Kalamazoo defense comes through yet again. As we're going to look at Wadlington. He thinks he's going to get popped right here. The ball hit that knocked the ball loose. And the second fumble recovery and the 3rd turnover of the game for Manchester.
So quickly that brings up 1st down and goal from their own 8. New quarterback into the game. He'll throw over the middle. It's caught, reaching for the end zone. They'll mark him short. The new quarterback. I'm going to call it Keehan Owens. And now we have an injury on the field for Manchester. And it's Javion Davis, who is down on the ground. So we'll take a quick step aside as Kalamazoo has the football when we come back.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN. We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
For over 125 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community, providing help, hope, and healing to people in need. You can volunteer today, 317-686-6239. Wheeler Mission, proud sponsor of HCAC TV. The new quarterback in, Zach Metz, making his first appearance in 2 calendar years. He'll hand it off over the middle, reaching for the end zone. The running back is in. Liam Metheringham gets into the end zone for the touchdown, and Kalamazoo continues to lay on the gas with the second unit.
All right, Leatheringham finishes it off right there, and again, Kalamazoo takes advantage of a very, very short field after the turnover.
First play back from break, and Kalamazoo gets on the board once again. And we'll see who the kicker is this time around. We've seen a rotation of them today. Isaac On, who wears the double 9 for Kalamazoo, lining it up. There's the snap back, the delivery, and the kick is good. 6:24 to go here in the fourth quarter. Kalamazoo on top of Manchester 55-0. As Liam Metheringham gets into the end zone, we'll take a quick step aside and return on the other side of this break on HCAC TV. We're back at Spartan Stadium in Manchester, Indiana. As Kalamazoo laying it to Manchester right now, 55-0 with 6:24 to go here in the fourth quarter. There's a good look at Isaac On, who just knocked in his second PAT of the day. He'll get ready to kick this one away to the Spartans. Boots into this one. Pushing back towards the 10. It bounces out of bounds at the 5. And a smart play right there from the return man, Gabe Hernandez, to let that one bounce out of bounds. And that'll take them out to the 35-yard line.
It's happened again the third quarter, and Manchester made Kalamazoo re-kick, but I don't think you're going to see them do that this time.
The last time they did that, they would have had the ball at the 40-yard line due to a penalty. Instead, they re-kicked it and were buried inside their own 10. This time around, Manchester not taking any gambles. 6:24 to go here in the fourth quarter. Both of these teams trying to get tuned up for their conference slates that are coming up in the coming weeks. The HCAC for Manchester and the MIAA for Kalamazoo. A couple of conference games today in both of those leagues. This not being one of them, obviously. Romero, the handoff, running up the middle. Wadlington gets eaten alive by this defense. He's able to get forward for a couple of yards, but was being harassed as he went down to the ground.
You still see that Kalamazoo defense, despite the score. You can see they're wanting to preserve this shutout.
Clock will continue to run after the run. I'll bring up second down and 8. And so far, Andrew Romero has played every single offensive snap so far for Manchester. He's shown a lot of promise with the amount of agility and situational awareness he has, at least with defenders coming up around him. But the passing game has not been very strong so far today. Whether that's the fault of Romero or the receiving core, well, that's up for debate. I'm sure that Van Hunt will be doing everything he can to analyze this team and the performance they put out through the first 3 weeks of this season to try to get them ready for Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference play.
Going forward into conference play with the game Wadlington's had, you got to wonder if he's going to put him in as maybe the backup running back here with the good performance he's had today. He's earned himself a one-up spot here.
The normal starting quarterback for Manchester and Dante Cheney, the 6-foot senior from Arlington, Texas, and transfer from Willamette College out in Salem, Oregon, not playing today. So Romero got the nod. He hands it off. Wadlington up again out to the 40, but is stopped short of the marker.
Wadlington's been taking some hits here in the second half. You saw him a little slow getting up right there.
Wadlington with a couple of explosive plays in the second quarter to get Manchester's offense churning. And as you can tell by the scoreboard on your screen, they weren't able to capitalize on any of those drives, whether it be because of penalties or turnovers. Manchester has not been able to get onto the board, and they've had some opportunities. Angel Estrada with another kick upcoming. They'll boot this one away. Kick is on its way, and per usual, a terrific kick. A fair catch called, as Trey Ritchie will field that one inside the 15.
I believe in this last 4 minutes you're going to see a heavy, heavy dose of running for Kalamazoo. Just wanting to get these last 4 minutes done, have no injuries, no more injuries, and get ready for conference play here.
3:58 remaining in this game. Kalamazoo will move on to 3-0 on the season. Manchester will fall to 0-3. And this Manchester team very well could be 1-2 if they had been able to pull out a come-from-behind win last week against Concordia. They weren't able to do it then, and they ran into a buzzsaw in Kalamazoo today.
Kalamazoo definitely going to be a factor in MIAA play going forward. Clock has stopped for some reason here. There we go.
Kalamazoo is a team that has struggled in MIAA play over the course of the last 3 seasons at least. Only one combined win over those 3 seasons. That came last year. But Jamie Zorbo and his group so far today has looked extremely impressive. And they should have a lot to be happy about going into MIAA play a week from today. Handoff, only a couple of positive yards for Kalamazoo. Once again, Brady Swift carrying it over the middle.
They're going to be very, very content to let this play clock tick all the way down here.
Third down and 10.
Couple of scores from around the HCAC. Hanover on top of Olivier, 42-14 right now. And Mount St. Joseph on top of Albion, 49-14. Not to mention that Hope is on top of Rose-Hulman, 49-7 on the road. Looking downfield, should say Olivet taking on Hanover. On the run was the quarterback, Zach Metz, who's making his first appearance since the 2022 season. He was able to gain some positive yardage.
See the defenders from Manchester down on the knee. Probably they've been out there a lot today.
Injured Spartan out on the field with 2:20 to go, so we'll keep it here with you. A couple of other scores from around the conference. Adrian on top of Franklin College on the road, 28-14. Again, Anderson University will be at Luther next weekend. But in the meantime, they will be playing Calvin today. There's no score update from that game. Trine taking on Rose-Hulman last week. Trine this week at Bluffton. That game set to kick off at 7 o'clock tonight. Clock continues to run now as we approach the 2-minute mark. Kalamazoo going to move on to 3-0 on this season. Manchester falls to 0-3. And now whistle blows. And the 2-minute timeout is upon us. We'll take a quick step aside here on HCAC TV and return with the final 2 minutes from Manchester.
You an active athlete looking for enhanced performance, comfort, and recovery? Then Skins is the perfect choice for you. Our revolutionary sports compression product provides better oxygen flow in your muscles, helps reduce fatigue and pain from intense physical activity, allowing athletes to push their boundaries and perform better.
Skins helps keep everything, including you, on track.
So don't wait any longer. Get your Skins now and experience unbeatable performance.
Take your game to the next level with Skins.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you can be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Punt forthcoming for Kalamazoo as we return to Spartan Stadium. It's up in the air. Manchester's going to get this ball one final time. It's out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Kalamazoo. And that's where Manchester will take over, presumably, for the final time today. John, give me your thoughts on the stat breakdown that we've seen so far today. It's been all Kalamazoo. There's no sugarcoating it.
One of the keys going in that we were talking about was the Kalamazoo defense and what a job they have done, not only forcing 3 more turnovers, but they have held Manchester to under 100 yards of offense in this game. Just a very, very impressive showing. And vice versa on the offensive side, Kalamazoo went over 400 yards of offense on that last drive. So just an all-around great showing by Kalamazoo today.
24 first downs compared to Manchester's 7. 103 rushing yards compared to Manchester's 54. And the big number that stood out to me, 302 passing yards compared to 42 for Manchester. 110 seconds to go until the conclusion of this one, as Manchester will run it up the middle. Wadlington once again on the carry. He's had a terrific day.
Great showing here by Wadlington. Going forward here, let's see if he gets used a little bit more here. Manchester going forward into conference play.
Over 50 yards on the day for Wadlington. That was his 13th carry. Now 60 yards on the day. Clock continues to run after the run. Romero steps up. We've seen this time and time from him again today. Throws it over the middle. He slots the pass forward. Did he make it? Yes. A rare sight for Manchester so far today. A completion to Nate Clark for the first down at the 11.
Well, great job there finding Clark to the 11-yard line. Manchester trying to punch this in the end zone before the end of the game.
Manchester trying to avoid being shut out on their home field. They have 55 seconds to do so. Romero takes the snap, drops back. Quick pass out to the far sideline. It's caught. Doriel Moss Jr. on the gain. Forward for 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. First down marker sitting at the 1.
Third reception for Moss here today.
He's had a pretty productive day as well. And essentially, this is a 2nd down and goal, because once you get inside the 1, it's going to be kind of hard to mark a first down. Loose ball on the snap, and Romero dives on it and loses the ball. It is recovered by Kalamazoo. Dylan Gackey hopping on that one, and that will do it.
I think he was trying to recover that one and then still try to make a play. That's one on a bad snap like that you just need to fall on, as we look at the bad snap right here. And actually, he tried to pick that, just couldn't corral the ball there. And Kalamazoo right there. And you're going to see a kneel down to preserve this shutout. 4th turnover of the game for Manchester.
And if any play sums up this entire 60-minute onslaught by Kalamazoo, that would be the play right there. The 4th turnover forced by Kalamazoo. The 3rd fumble coughed up by Manchester. And Zach Metz was able to hang on to that one, and he wasn't ready for the snap. He'll take the knee, and that will be the final play of scrimmage of the day. Final score from Manchester College and Spartan Stadium. Kalamazoo marching their way south and taking down the Manchester Spartans by a final tally of 55-0. John, this was all Hornets from start to finish.
Kalamazoo, yeah, great 60 minutes right there. Kalamazoo and coach wanting to get that offensive, defensive balance like you were talking about. I think mission accomplished today.
Again, final score 55-0 Kalamazoo over Manchester. The Hornets move on to 3-0 on the season. Manchester falls to 0-3. We'll go through our title sponsors once again for the final time. We'd like to thank Reynolds Farm Equipment, along with Passion to Care, Boilermaker Local 374, Wheeler Mission, Burtner Electric, the Morales Group, Northwestern Mutual, the Indiana Laborers District Council, and the Indiana SRN Sports Page. We'd like to thank all of you all for spending your Saturday afternoon with us. For our cameraman, Chuck Levine on site, and our director, Greg Smith, who did a terrific job this afternoon, my partner, John Lester, I'm Cruz Martin saying so long from Manchester, and good night.
And I want to apologize to both of you. I absolutely sucked today.